The nation gave me a wife, and I started by marrying the Empress. Yang Jun, a model youth of the new century, suddenly found himself transmigrated into a poor villager in the impoverished Great Jing Dynasty. However, sometimes fools are blessed, and right from the start, he found himself receiving a wife from the government. What Yang Jun didn't expect, though, was that the wife he married turned out to be the reigning empress, who held the power of the state. Chapter 1, Fool, do you want a wife? Hey, Yang the Fool, do you want a wife? In the Great Jing Dynasty, in Hatang village, Yang Jun was staring blankly at the half-height mud wall in his yard. Damn it! Yesterday, I had just gotten a 2-bedroom apartment in Magic City, and today, I wake up to find myself transmigrated. His 2-bedroom apartment. The worst part. Not only did he transmigrate, but he transmigrated into the body of a fool who had just starved to death. According to the memories of the original owner, Hatang village was known far and wide as one of the poorest and most desolate places. Not even the birds flying by dared to stop, afraid they'd lose their feathers. Yang Jun had repeatedly fallen asleep, hoping it was all just a dream. Unfortunately, it wasn't he. Until the voice of a burly man outside the wall rudely woke him up. Yang Jun looked at the head that suddenly popped up outside the wall and his first reaction was, "I'm starving to death, why do I need a wife?" The remaining memories told Yang Jun that the person was called Wang Han. True to his name, Wang Han was one of the few strong men in Hatang village. With a full beard and eyes as round as light bulbs, Wang Han looked at the dazed Yang Jun and said sincerely, "Really, fool, the wedding procession is about to arrive. Let me take you there." He wore a grayish short jacket that barely covered his upper body. His pants were tied with a piece of straw rope. It was clear this place was poor. Yang Jun couldn't help but sigh inwardly. Seeing that Yang Jun didn't react, Wang Han directly pushed the door open and dragged him out. "It's only been a few days since I talked to you, and you already seem dumber. What's going on?" Yang Jun wanted to retort in his mind, "I'm not a fool." But alas, this body had been starved for so long that he could barely open his mouth. "Let us go, this year I'm making sure you get a wife, that's what your old man wanted." Wang Han pulled Yang Jun along, only to find him as limp as a noodle. Wang Han gave him an impatient look, then threw Yang Jun's arm over his own shoulder and practically carried him forward. "You see? Every year, I talk to you, and it works. The officials used to come and give out wives, but you'd always hide and refuse. This year, you're actually willing to follow me and get one. Let me tell you, make sure you pick a woman with a big backside, good for childbirth. If that's not possible, choose one with strong arms, someone who can help with the chores at home." Wang Han babbled on, but his tone was full of care. Yang Jun barely managed to croak out a question, his voice weak, "Why does the government give out wives?" Wang Han paused, then, with a face full of affection, he patted Yang Jun's head. "Fool, you're starting to think. I'll tell you, our Empress likes to empower women, she even chooses female generals for the army. As for the foot soldiers, they leave those to us men. Plus, our Empress loves war, so now the number of women is increasing, and men are getting fewer. A few years ago, she issued a decree that all women over 16 who aren't married by the harvest season will be gathered by the government and sent to different villages to be married off. Any man over 18 without a wife can go and pick one up." Yang Jun was confused. Would those women be willing to be sent off like that? Wang Han scratched his head. "They don't have much of a choice. There's a rule in the government: if a family has a daughter over 13, or a son who refuses to marry or take part in sending someone off, they have to pay a head tax for 2 people. If they don't want to, they pay the tax." Yang Jun understood. Are other villages as poor as ours? Wang Han was surprised and gave him a strange look. "Not bad for a fool. Now you're starting to get it. Don't just talk about our Hatang village, this custom of sending women off exists even in the capital where the Empress rules. There's nothing we can do, men are just too few now." As the two of them talked, they arrived at the village entrance. Suddenly, someone yelled, "Yang the Fool from Hatang village is here." Yang Jun felt his face turn black with embarrassment. "I'm not a fool." But obviously, now wasn't the time to argue. "Forget it. I'll prove it to everyone later. Remember what I told you, pick a woman with a big backside, or if that's not possible, one who's strong. Whether it's getting on or off the bed, she needs to be a good helper." Wang Han reminded him seriously. "You're the one picking a wife. Hurry up, we have dozens of villages left to go to, said the leader of the procession, who was dressed in a red official robe, looking impatient as he eyed the frail Yang Jun. Behind him, 3 rows of grimy women revealed their faces. Their headscarves had long lost their original colors, likely from traveling for a long time. Some had sharp eyes, some had blank stares, and a few of the bolder ones met Yang Jun's gaze and boldly looked back. The women in front of him had various appearances, but without exception, they were all thin as bamboo poles. Yang Jun's eyes stopped on a girl whose figure was barely curvy, and he stammered, I don't want to go with you. The girl immediately jumped up, grabbing her bundle in panic. You're so skinny, you're probably going to starve to death, I don't want to go with you. Dahua. Stop messing around. If you keep this up, I'll have your older brother pay double the head tax next year, the leader of the officers shouted. The girl named Dahua trembled and finally lowered her head in fear. Yang Jun knew that forcing someone wasn't the way to go, so he pointed at another girl who was about the same size as Dahua. No, I won't do it. This time, Wang Han was enraged and jumped up. What did I tell you? Pick a fat one, a strong one. Why are you always picking these scrawny ones? If you can't pick, I'll do it. Before Yang Jun could say anything, the girl he picked grabbed his leg and started crying, Little brother, please, give me a way out. You're so skinny, you'll probably die, don't take me back to starve. The girl's strength was surprisingly strong, and she suddenly knocked Yang Jun off balance. Wow, this body really. Yang Jun didn't have time to complain. Just then, he met the cold, judgmental stares of the onlookers. Fine. He admitted it. This body wasn't in great shape. And no wonder it had been starved to death. The woman at his feet was crying loudly, and the villagers watching couldn't help but jeer. The leading officer, seeing the chaos and the approaching night, finally spoke with a dark face. All right, enough. Since no one wants to go with your village's fool, then let it be her. The officer in red pointed to a woman lying on a grass stretcher, her face covered by long hair. She looked dirty, like she had been pulled out of a swamp. If it weren't for the slight rise and fall of her chest, everyone might thought she was already dead. We found her under the dam, and now she is being given to your fool. Whether she lives or dies, that's up to you to take care of. Next year, we'll send you a better one. With that, the officers left the stretcher with the woman and took the rest of their group away. The villagers looked at their female corpse that was lifeless, unable to express their anger. Sigh. What else could they do? They were poor in Hatang village. Chapter 2, Healing. Wang Han scratched his head in guilt. It's my fault. I shouldn't have interrupted earlier. Yang Jun shook his head. It's not your fault. Those officials were clearly just trying to go through their motions. How could simple, honest villagers like them deal with such people? Well, how about this? Do you want this woman? If you do, we'll help you carry her back, Wang Han suggested, pointing at the woman on the ground. Yang Jun felt troubled. Carrying her back would be fine, but he was so weak from hunger that he couldn't even find the strength to take care of himself, let alone find food for her. On the other hand, leaving her alone to die here seemed wrong, too. Finally, Yang Jun gritted his teeth. Then, please help me carry her back. Along the way, no one spoke a word. From their experience, they knew that if things went as usual, they would be back in a few days to help their fool bury this woman. They set down the woman's makeshift stretcher made of vine, and aside from Wang Han who gave Yang Jun a few final instructions, the rest of the group couldn't wait to leave. They were afraid that if they stayed any longer, they might get contaminated by something unpleasant. Yang Jun understood their fear. With a sigh, he sat by the bed and looked at the woman. He brushed aside her long hair, which had been covering her face, and couldn't help but take a sharp breath. She was terrifying. Her face, though covered in dirt, was also marred with bloodstains. Damn, had her face been slashed open. The thought of having to face a disfigured woman made Yang Jun feel that his life ahead was going to be full of challenges. He couldn't believe his luck. He had just managed to buy a 2-bedroom apartment in the Magic City, and now he was faced with this. He couldn't let this difficulty get the better of him. Continuing to inspect her injuries, he lifted her collar and removed the long, cumbersome ties. After a thorough and careful examination, Yang Jun let out a sigh of relief. Aside from a deep stab wound on her chest, the rest of her injuries were minor cuts from rocks or tree branches. As long as she received proper care, she would recover. For now, he needed to treat her chest wound first. Fortunately, Yang Jun had some medical knowledge from his past life, and since they were near a mountainside, herbs were relatively easy to find. Sorry about this, he whispered to himself. He removed the woman's clothing as gently as he could, trying not to look at her voluptuous figure. Focusing intently, he applied the herbs to the deep wound on her chest. Afterward, he used the only cloth bandage he had at home to tie it up in a firm knot. By the time he was done, his hands were so exhausted that he could barely lift them anymore. It wasn't that Yang Jun was too weak, it was simply that this body was in such poor condition. He covered her with the only straw mat he had and couldn't help but think. Looks like my luck isn't all that bad. This stunning beauty, even in modern times, I probably wouldn't be able to marry someone like her. During the inspection, Yang Jun had noticed that despite her tattered clothing, the woman's skin was smooth and soft, as if she had been carefully nurtured. Her figure was well shaped, with a full chest and a slim waist. And those long, perfect legs, in a word, breathtaking. Once her face was cleaned, he saw glimpses of a truly stunning beauty. If anyone else had dared to peek earlier, they certainly wouldn't have had the privilege. With that thought, Yang Jun found the energy to search for some rice. In a broken earthen pot, he mixed some rice with crushed gravel. As the fire licked the bottom of the pot, the fragrance of the rice soon filled the air. Yang Jun was looking for something to serve the porridge in when he suddenly noticed the woman on the bed stirring, slowly waking up. "Where am I?" she muttered, her eyes dazed. The woman had a pair of striking phoenix eyes. Perhaps because she had just woken up, she seemed a bit confused. Yang Jun kindly explained, "This is Hatang village. My name is Yang Jun. You're in my home." Wen Huan, upon seeing a stranger, immediately felt a surge of danger, but in her attempt to get up, the pain in her chest flared, reminding her of the knife wound inflicted by her most trusted maid. She recalled being forced to jump off a cliff during her escape. It didn't take long for Wen Huan to realize that she hadn't been found by her subordinates but had been rescued by the villagers here. The thought made her heart twist in bitterness. She, the mighty Empress of Beijing, had fallen to such a low point, reduced to being at the mercy of common villagers. How absurd. Enduring the pain, she spoke through gritted teeth, "Did you save me? Good. Once I recover, I will make sure to reward you greatly." Before she could finish her sentence, the straw mat slipped off her body. The room was filled with a moment of spring, the sight of her body fully exposed. Yang Jun froze. "How dare you?" Wen Huan screamed angrily. She had never even been touched by a man in her life, and now, here she was, completely exposed in front of a stranger. How disgraceful. Her lips moved, but due to her intense emotions, she fainted again. Yang Jun helplessly lowered her back onto the mat and checked her breath. It seemed she had just fainted from the shock, and there was no serious harm. What a good girl, but with such a bad temper, Yang Jun muttered to himself. He scooped a bowl of porridge for himself, drank it down quickly, and felt a bit of strength return. Looking at the broken table corner and the half pot of rice, he laughed bitterly. What is all this? Can't even take care of myself, and now I have someone else to feed. Sighing, he gave into the situation. Well, since I'm already here, I might as well accept it. Hey! When one didn't know when she had woken up, but she furrowed her brow and began shouting for help. Yang Jun hurried to his feet and watched her, fearing that she might do something impulsive. If she acted recklessly, all the hard work he had put into the herbs would be wasted. "You are not to tell anyone that you saved me." When One's voice was weak, but there was still an air of authority in her tone. "Otherwise, I will make sure you die without a grave." "Pfft!" Yang Jun snorted, waving his hand dismissively. "You'd better take care of yourself first before talking about anything else." "You?" When One's phoenix eyes were filled with anger, but due to her injuries, she could only take a deep breath and suppress the urge to kill. She was a woman who had experienced many grand events. In just a few moments, when Juan had already sorted out the situation. She closed her eyes slightly, thinking to herself. Right now, I'm severely wounded, and those traitors and scoundrels are still likely searching for me. It's better to temporarily bide my time here. Once I recover, I'll make sure to deal with this arrogant fool who dared to be so bold with me. Having come to this conclusion, when Juan suddenly opened her eyes and glanced around at the shabby room, her disgust all too obvious. This is where you're taking care of me. Yang Jun nodded. Yes, this is my home. When Wan's resistance grew stronger, but remembering the enemies lurking in the shadows, she reluctantly swallowed her pride. Fine, then. Take this chain of mine and sell it. Use the money to buy better food, better clothes, and get a decent doctor to treat me. At some point, she had a chain in her hand. It was shiny and exquisite, clearly not an ordinary item. However, when Wan looked at it with reluctance, it was the only memento her mother had left her before passing. Once she recovered and returned to the palace to reclaim her power, she would surely take back this chain. When Wan silently swore to herself. To her surprise, Yang Jun pushed her hand back gently. This chain is very important to you, right? If you're reluctant to part with it, then don't take it out. When Wan stared at the simple-looking man in front of her, clearly surprised. Yang Jun, however, remained calm. Since I brought you back, you're my wife. If I have a meal, you'll have one too. I'm not at the point where I use a woman's money. And as for treating you, it's just a small matter. I can handle it myself. When Wan's face darkened. Who is your wife? Yang Jun retorted, you. The officers who brought you here gave you to me, so from now on, you're my wife. Enough of this for now. I've made some porridge for you. You're still weak, so drinking some will help your recovery. When Wan endured her anger, her gaze icy, but she didn't say anything more. This man might be poor and love to take advantage of her verbally, but at least he hadn't taken advantage of her weakness. Back in the day, her master had endured hardships, so what was this little bit of humiliation compared to that? When Wan's expression flickered for a moment before it faded, and her face remained cold as ever. What she needed to do now was to rest and recover her strength as quickly as possible. Chapter 3, Hunting. Over here, Yang Jun carefully carried the porridge he made with the rice he borrowed from Wang Han and walked toward Wen Huan's bedside. Although the rice from Wang Han's family wasn't great, it was still more fragrant and rich than the rice Yang Jun had found at the bottom of his cupboard earlier. Wen Huan furrowed her brows when she saw the clay pot of porridge and coldly remarked, "You're giving me this to eat." She had been raised in the palace, surrounded by luxury and fine food. She had never eaten such humble fare. Drinking porridge was one thing, but there wasn't even a proper bowl or utensils. Just this grimy, blackened pot, it was simply unacceptable. Faced with Wen Huan's scornful gaze, Yang Jun helplessly sneered and shrugged. "This is the rice I borrowed for you. If not for your injuries, we'd be out there eating wild herbs by now. Your wounds are quite deep, and wild herbs aren't enough to nourish you. The rice porridge is the most nutritious, and the oil on top of it will help with your recovery. Once I have more strength, I'll go up the mountain and hunt some game. Meat will help your wounds heal faster." When Wen Huan heard this, her expression softened slightly. However, when she touched the blackened clay pot, she found it almost impossible to swallow, and, unable to control herself, she turned her head away and vomited. Great. Looks like she's a delicate young miss. Yang Jun didn't try to convince her. Well, call me when you're ready to drink it. With that, he turned to leave. Stop. When Huan called out. Realizing her tone was harsh, she softened her voice, sit down. Let us talk. I want to ask you, she began, her voice still cool, the Empress has exempted taxes and hasn't disturbed the farming season, so why is your family so poor? Is it because you're lazy? Yang Jun smiled bitterly and shook his head. Who told you that being poor means being lazy? Our family has been farming for 3 generations. But my grandfather, father, elder brother, and even my mother, each of them starved to death. That is impossible. When Huan frowned and immediately refuted, the Empress is diligently managing the empire and exempting taxes. How could the people be starving? Yang Jun snorted, do you think that just because the taxes are exempted at the top, it means things will be good at the bottom? Do you know that the Empress has been waging wars for years, and the number of families who can send strong men to fight can be counted on one hand? And as for the farming season, do we even have one? We barely manage to plant our crops, and then one word from above, go to war, and everything is gone. Although Yang Jun had not lived in this era, the memories of the original owner were full of painful history like this. Hearing this, Wen Huan stood still for a moment, feeling a sense of disbelief in her heart. The people had been suffering from famine for years, and it seemed it was because of her? That is impossible. Wen Huan frowned and spoke harshly, her gaze turning icy as she glared at Yang Jun. The memorials she had read did not say anything like this. This ignorant commoner dared to criticize the ruling government. Had it been in the past, she would have had him executed for such audacity. Wen Huan was furious, but after a moment of contemplation, she chose not to lash out. Instead, she silently drank the porridge. Yang Jun didn't bother to explain further. He waited until Wen Huan finished her porridge, then took the pot and placed it aside, preparing to lie down on the floor, fully clothed. It's getting late. Rest early. Tomorrow, I'll go hunting. Stay here and wait for me. Your clothes will be dry by tomorrow, and I'll leave them at the bedside. Wen Huan frowned as she looked at the man lying down without a care in the world. She wanted to say something but, seeing the poor state of the room, decided against it. Yang Jun wasn't he actually asleep? He was replaying the day's events in his mind. When he had gone up the mountain to gather herbs earlier, he noticed there were many wild mushrooms and some small animals in the area. He should be able to get some game for food. Wen Huan had expected that in such a desolate place, she would find it difficult to sleep. However, surprisingly, listening to the steady sound of the man's breathing beside her, she gradually fell asleep without realizing it. As the first light of day broke, Yang Jun made some more porridge with the remaining rice from the day before. He drank a little, and left the rest for Wen Huan. When Wen Huan woke up, she noticed that the intense pain in her chest had decreased significantly, which made her feel less irritable. She even had the strength to put on the clothes that Yang Jun had washed for her. If she were in the palace, her clothes would have been thrown away after one use. But now, Wen Huan gritted her teeth, tied a rough knot in her clothes, and lay back down, waiting for Yang Jun to return. She thought he would return soon, but to her surprise, she waited from dawn until nightfall without seeing him. During the day, someone came looking for Yang Jun. "Fool, are you home? I brought you some rice." The voice sounded simple and familiar, but upon hearing it, Wen Huan's vigilance spiked. She wanted to shout at the person to keep their distance from her room, but then thought better of it. What a joke! She, the Empress, already had to endure staying in this dilapidated house. If another person saw her, she might as well eliminate them right then and there. Wen Huan, in a rush, accidentally rolled over and fell off the bed with a thud. Bang! It wasn't a loud sound, but it was enough for the person outside to hear. The man hurriedly stopped. Forget it, forget it. Fool's got a wife now. Maybe they're busy. Wen Huan's face darkened. Who's the fool's wife? Who's busy? These ignorant commoners and their nonsense so utterly infuriating. As nightfall approached, Wen Huan had still not seen Yang Jun. This guy, did he recognize my golden chain and report me? A cold thought rose in her mind, making her expression turn even colder. Just as she was trying to climb back into bed, she suddenly heard careful footsteps behind her. Her heart immediately raced with alarm. Who's there? She turned her head sharply and shouted. Chapter 4, Chicken Soup. Yang Jun had just entered the room when he froze in place. A graceful woman was lying by his bed, half of her shoulder exposed, though she remained unaware of it. As she turned to scold him, Yang Jun couldn't help but tense up. Her cold gaze was like a sharp blade, sending chills down his spine. So scary. For a moment, Yang Jun felt like his life was in danger. When he recognized who it was, Wen Huan's expression softened slightly, and she said faintly, "It's you. Why are you back so late?" Yang Jun shook off the cold feeling in his chest and began to study Wen Huan carefully. When he had treated her injuries earlier, Yang Jun had vaguely suspected that this woman, officially assigned to him as his wife by the government, was not an ordinary person. That cold, piercing gaze confirmed his suspicion this woman was no ordinary individual. She might be a runaway from a prominent family, someone who had grown up with the harsh realities of life, accustomed to the sight of blood, which could explain her chilling killing intent. Well, after taking care of her, he would send her away. Having made up his mind, Yang Jun smiled and waved the plucked chicken in his hand. "Caught a good one, but there's no water at home, so I plucked it clean on the mountain and brought it back." As he spoke, he stuffed the chicken into the basket behind him and clapped his hands. "I'll cook the soup now, and we can eat in a bit." "Wait." When one couldn't help but scold him. "Don't you know to help me up first?" Yang Jun was taken aback. "Didn't you want to get out of bed and walk?" When Huan's face turned icy. "No need to say more. Come here and help me." Yang Jun really couldn't understand women's moods. He stepped forward in large strides. When Huan arrogantly extended her delicate hand. But Yang Jun bypassed her hand entirely and, with a princess carry, directly placed her back on the bed. You? How dare you? You are being impertinent with me, When Huan's face changed drastically. As someone of high status, when had anyone dared treat her with such flippancy? Was he not afraid of his entire family being wiped out? If I didn't carry you like this, could you get back on by yourself? Yang Jun scoffed, not intimidated by her pride. Without waiting for her to retaliate, he quickly turned around to prepare dinner. He stoked the fire and used the chicken fat to grease the heated stone bottom. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The smell of chicken began to fill the air. Once the chicken fat had melted, he laid the clean matsutake mushrooms on the stone pot. In an instant, the rich aroma of meat mixed with the fresh fragrance of mushrooms wafted through the air. His stomach, which had been hungry all day, audibly grumbled. Yang Jun ladled a bowl for her. You're the patient, so eat something light to settle your stomach. When one turned her face away. I will not eat such low-quality food. This pot, even. Before she could finish, Yang Jun shoved a piece of mushroom into her mouth. These are all natural ingredients. They help your recovery. When Huan's eyes flickered, as if something had struck a chord in her. She chewed and swallowed the mushroom. Just one bite, and her eyes lit up. She never expected that something so simple and rustic could taste so delicious. Yang Jun smiled at her. So, how does it taste? Good. When Huan huffed lightly. It's possible. Yang Jun chuckled inwardly but didn't he mind her contradictory words. He started adding water to the pot for the chicken soup. The firewood was already prepared, and soon, the room was filled with the smell of home-cooked food. As she ate, when one found herself thinking about the extravagant meals from her time in the palace, but none had ever been as satisfying as this. She couldn't help but feel a little strange. This man, seemingly poor and humble, had a certain aura about him that was different from anyone she had encountered. What was it about him? You can drink the soup now. Yang Jun had finished cooking the chicken soup and brought her a bowl. The thick, white soup, mixed with the savory mushrooms, made when Huan's appetite surge. She didn't even care about the crude bowl. She lowered her head and drank quietly. Yang Jun also dug in, savoring every bite. Those who had never experienced true hunger could never understand the joy they were feeling now. After finishing their meal, the two exchanged a glance and smiled without words. This was the first time when Huan smiled genuinely since arriving here. With the inherent grace in her brow, the smile added an air of cool elegance to her features. Like a flower blooming in the snow, beautiful enough to make one's heart race. You look quite nice when you smile. You should smile more often, Yang Jun remarked sincerely. When Huan's expression froze. Presumptuous. She was about to scold him when a sharp pain suddenly shot through her ankle. She lifted the blanket, only to find her ankle swollen and red. When Yang Jun touched it, she gasped in pain. It's fine, just a sprain. I'll massage it, and you'll feel better soon. Yang Jun didn't ask how she injured her ankle. He took a cloth, wet it with cold water, and gently rubbed the injured area. Is this really going to help? When Huan was astonished, looking at him with wide eyes. Yang Jun didn't rush to explain. He continued massaging the swollen area. Just as when Huan was about to tell him to stop, Yang Jun suddenly misstepped. With a crack, her ankle made a loud sound. Millimeter. When one couldn't suppress a groan of pain. After the sharp pain, an overwhelming feeling of relief spread through her body. How is it now? Does it still hurt? Looking into Yang Jun's earnest eyes, when Huan momentarily lost her composure. This was the countryside, not the palace. Here, there were no deceptions or political games. One wrong word wouldn't lead to massive consequences. The man before her was so different from the others she encountered daily in the palace. Could it be that her time in the palace had made her forget the feelings of ordinary people? When Huan lowered her guard and nodded. It's not as painful anymore. Good. Yang Jun smiled and bent down to lift her up. This time, when Huan didn't resist like before. At least, after spending some time with him, she was able to let her guard down a little. Yang Jun placed her back on the bed and picked up a new piece of cloth. I swapped this for some warm clothes with a hunter from the other side of the mountain. It's warm, and since you're injured, you should cover yourself with it tonight. As he spoke, he tidied up the floor. They went to bed fully clothed. Yang Jun had been busy from morning until now, and he was exhausted. Today I hunted a wild chicken and a rabbit. I traded the rabbit for this cloth. The chicken is all gone, and tomorrow I'll go hunting again. I'll dry the mushrooms on the roof tomorrow, they should last for a few days. I'll be hunting again tomorrow. If you're afraid to stay here alone, you can go to Da Zhuang's house. They have a big family, and it's lively there. Listening to Yang Jun's sincere concern, Wen Huan couldn't help but reflect. Since assuming her position, she had been surrounded by sycophants and false smiles. She never expected that in this humble man, she could find something different. She couldn't help but steal another glance at him. Fine. Since he has been taking care of me, I'll reward him after I return to the palace, she thought. Chapter 5: Collecting Corpses. Accompanied by the chirping of unknown insects. Wen Huan had no dreams all night until dawn. When she woke up the next day, Yang Jun was no longer in the room. But before leaving, he left a pot of chicken soup. After 2 days of recuperation, Wen Huan also clearly felt that her injuries began to show signs of improvement. By the afternoon, she felt that her strength had recovered by more than half. It seemed to be better than yesterday. She could even walk along the bed and slowly get out of bed. I didn't expect him to have some medical skills. It would be nice to take him into the palace as an imperial physician in the future. Wen Huan thought. She looked out the window. Today, the sun was shining brightly outside and the weather was very good. But Wen Huan did not leave the house easily. Before her injuries were completely recovered, she had to be extremely cautious no matter what. Unconsciously, night had fallen. After waiting for a day, Yang Jun still did not return. However, after yesterday's blunder, Wen Huan was not as worried as he was yesterday. However, there was another sound of footsteps at the door. It sounded like the person who came to see Yang Jun yesterday. Silly wife, are you home? Is there anyone in the room? If so, please let me know. Wang Han was so anxious that he scratched his head and stood at the door turning around. Her face tanned by the sun was covered with sweat. Wen Huan frowned and leaned against the bed to respond faintly, "What's the matter?" Wang Yi heard the voice inside, and felt a little relieved, and then hurriedly said, "Silly wife, Shueixing, who was driving cattle, passed by the foot of the mountain just now and said that he saw a man falling from the mountain with his face smashed. I heard from my wife that the idiot went hunting in the mountain these 2 days. Do you want to go with us to identify him? Did Yang Jun get into trouble?" Wen Huan's heart sank, and an indescribable feeling filled his heart. But after all, she was the Empress who ruled the world. Wen Huan quickly calmed down and said in a calm voice, "How about this? You bring the stretcher I used before. I have an injury and it is inconvenient for me to walk. Also, you find another female relative to accompany me. I have something to tell her to do." Listening to the arrangement of the people inside, Wang Han couldn't find a word to refute for a while. Okay. When he walked out and called his wife, he realized, when did he listen to a woman? It's really strange. Shushan, who was pointed to Wen Huan's room by Wang Han, was also very unhappy. Looking at Wen Huan, who had skin as white as cream and a bright nose, alarm bells suddenly rang in his heart. Why should the head of the family listen to the arrangements of a woman? Could it be that Wang Han wanted to take the woman in front of him back as his wife? In the Great Jing Dynasty, if the women sent by the wedding team had an accident with the head of the family, relatives or neighbors would take the women away. But Wen Huan didn't have the heart to think so much. She gritted her teeth, took out the gold chain she had treasured in her hair, and handed it to Shushan. "Please help me pawn this chain. Use the money to hire a better doctor. If my family member is unfortunately in trouble, please help me arrange it. The remaining money will belong to your family." Shushan looked at the gold chain, and her eyes had long stopped moving. After hearing Wen Huan's words, she quickly snatched the gold chain and stuffed it into her arms. "Are you serious?" "Of course. You go pawn it now, the sooner the better." "Okay." Shushan immediately ran away with the gold chain in her pocket. With this gold chain, after the matter is done, the remaining money is enough for them, the farmers, to not have to work for the rest of their lives. Of course, Wen Huan knew how valuable the chain was. But saving people is the most important thing now. If it doesn't work, she has to prepare for the worst. At least they know each other. Wang Han looked at his wife, who was smiling from ear to ear, and stopped her in confusion. Where are you going? Hey, boss, don't worry about it, we will live a good life soon. Shushan pushed the person away and ran away happily. Wang Han wanted to ask more, but Wen Huan in the room was already urging him. He had to suppress his doubts, and he and the young man from the same village each carried a stretcher and took the person out. Wen Huan wiped his face with ash from the bottom of the pot. At first glance, he didn't look very impressive. But the demeanor of his whole body made people dare not look directly at him. A circle of people had gathered at the foot of the mountain, and everyone was looking at him and shaking their heads. What a pity, at such a young age, his leg bones were broken. Why not dig for food in the fields? He had to go to get wild game. Now he has lost his life. I heard that this young man just brought a wife home. Now, the man is gone, and the wife is going to be taken away again. The chaotic discussions in his ears gradually penetrated into Wen Huan's heart. He was just an ordinary person who had only been with him for 2 days. Wen Huan thought. When his mother was forced to commit suicide, it seemed to be the same scene. Many people ran around. I thought I would never forget such a scene. But it was only a few years ago. When Wen Huan thought about it again, he was a little dazed for a while. The wife of the idiot came to recognize people. Wang Han shouted. The crowd automatically split into 2 paths. Wen Huan looked at the figure curled up on the ground. The familiar clothes were the same as yesterday. Yes, there was nothing at home that he could change. Just when Wen Huan was about to get closer to take a look, a voice suddenly came from behind. Why is it so lively here? What's inside? It's Yang Jun. Wen Huan's brows suddenly relaxed. She turned around quickly and looked in the direction of the voice. Under the twilight, Yang Jun was looking over here. A surprise appeared on Wen Huan's pretty face unconsciously. Are you okay? The big stone in her heart suddenly disappeared. Where have you been? Why did you come down the mountain so late? Didn't you say you would come back early today? Hey, there's a little problem today. Yang Jun scratched the back of his head and shook the things in his hand. I got you some tonic herbs that you can't buy. What a fool. Wen Huan pursed her red lips and complained in a low voice. What? Do you know that I climbed 3 mountains to get this herb? Halfway through, Yang Jun suddenly stopped the topic. He bent down, approached Wen Huan and took a closer look. Why, are you worried about me, so you chased me to the foot of the mountain? Not really. Wen Huan shook his head lightly. I'm just afraid that you'll die and no one will serve me tea or water. Yang Jun looked at the strange color in the girl's eyes and smiled without saying anything. Chapter 6. This is a good thing. When everyone saw that Yang Jun was fine, they went to other places to make arrangements. After all, the family members had to be notified to claim the body. Although the Great Jing Dynasty had been fighting for years, causing the people below to live in misery, they were particularly particular about funerals. No matter how poor the family was, they could go to the government to receive a resettlement fee after death to use for a grand funeral. Some people said that this was a show of pomp, that the life of a living person was cheaper than grass, but they put on such a show after death, but the fact was that it was the last dignity of life. Wang Han trotted over and wiped the sweat from his forehead. Wen Huan was indeed not heavy, but no one could hold it after carrying it for so long. Ha! Idiot, you are fine. I was really scared. Don't go hunting for wild game in the future, it's so dangerous. Yang Jun grinned. Isn't it because the family is so poor that we can't even afford to eat? Wang Han glanced at Wen Huan and looked him up and down. Wen Huan felt uncomfortable with his gaze. If he were in the court, who among the officials would dare to look directly at him? Yang Jun waved his hand in front of Wang Han. Hey! That's my wife, what are you looking at? Wang Han smiled awkwardly. Hee, you are so lucky, I didn't expect the wife you brought back is so beautiful. TSK, it's a pity, she's disabled. Yang Jun glanced at Wen Huan sitting on the stretcher. Go to hell. My wife is injured, not disabled. Yang Jun walked in front of Wen Huan, squatted down and patted his shoulder. What are you doing? Wen Huan looked puzzled. Nonsense. Of course I'll carry you home. Wen Huan looked doubtful. Can you do it? Yang Jun turned his head and glared at Wen Huan. Who are you implying? A man can't say no. Do you understand? Wen Huan looked around and found that no one was paying attention to this side. This was indeed normal in the folks, after all, they were nominally married. However, Wen still couldn't accept it in his heart. After all, in public, lying directly on a man's back, so wouldn't he be stuck to him? This kind of thing is terrifying to think about. But now Yang Jun is still alive, he can't let other villagers carry him back. Okay, don't stand there, I don't want to take advantage of you. Wen lowered his head quickly, his face flushed. Then you, be careful. Yang Jun carried Wen home. The two were silent along their way, and only Yang Jun's slight breathing could be heard. Tired, right? Yang Jun was stunned, not tired. Although his body is indeed useless, fortunately Wen is very light, so it's okay to grit his teeth. And Yang Jun is in pain and happiness now. Wen's body is soft and boneless, sticking to his junia, and he can feel a soft and sticky feeling with every step, not to mention how beautiful it is. Suddenly, Yang Jun felt a foreign body invade his forehead, and then a faint fragrance rushed into his nose. Yang Jun was stunned for at least 10 seconds, because Wen was wiping the sweat from his forehead. Why are you still standing there? Let's go. After a long time, Wen behind him made a mosquito-like sound. Yang Jun smiled and shook Wen up. Okay. After the two returned home, Yang Jun put Wen back on the bed, and he lay on the side with his arms and legs spread out, panting. Huff, huff, huff. Just after taking a few breaths, a sound of deflated stomach reached Yang Jun's ears, and Yang Jun hurriedly stood up and looked at Wen. Are you hungry? Wen hurriedly lowered her head, her face was delicate and charming. No. No. Yang Jun sighed. Oh, I'm really convinced. You are my wife now. Why are you still timid in front of your husband? Wait, I will give you a big tonic meal today. Wen was confused. Meal? What is this? Yang Jun waved his hand. Wait. Yang Jun didn't talk too much nonsense with Wen and went out with the herbs. Wen was confused for a long time, and then he shouted softly. Who is your wife? Don't take advantage of me. Of course, Yang Jun couldn't hear this decibel at all. This meal almost made Wen's flowers wither. She waited for more than 3 hours and was so hungry that her chest was sticking to her back. When the moon came, Yang Jun kicked the door open and yelled. It's time to eat. It was still the same black broken bowl, and as soon as Yang Jun brought it in, the whole room was filled with a very strong smell of herbs. Wen turned her head to the side and retched. What is this smell? So disgusting. Hey! Big sister, are you kidding me? This is the Qianshan snow lotus that I stepped on after climbing for 3 hours and madly testing on the edge of the cliff. Snow lotus. Do you know how precious this thing is? At the end, Yang Jun roared wildly. It's true that wild boars can't taste fine bran. What is snow lotus? Wen was puzzled. No, you don't know about snow lotus. I thought you've seen the world, you must know about ginseng and Ganoderma lucidum, right? Wen shook her head again. There was silence for at least 3 or 5 seconds, and Yang Jun suddenly patted his head, as if he had suddenly realized something. I suddenly remembered that these herbs have not been discovered in this distant Great Jing Dynasty. It's a pity for these good things. Wen looked puzzled. What are you mumbling about there? Yang Jun waved his hand quickly. Nothing, just drink it. I guarantee you won't say a word after drinking it. I'm your husband, how could I harm you? That's not what I meant. Wen took the black bowl. She used to dislike this broken bowl, but now she dislikes the things in the bowl even more. After half a minute of mental preparation, Wen finally put the broken bowl aside. I really can't drink it. Yang Jun sighed. Do you know what bitter medicine is good for the disease? Let me tell you, this is the authentic Qianshan snow lotus, and the herbal medicine made with longan. Drinking it can not only improve your resistance, but also effectively treat your old injuries. Wen blinked his eyes at Yang Jun when he heard this. Are you sure you won't drink it to death? You obviously have 1,000 ways to insult me, but you choose the one that hurts me the most. Since you don't dare to drink it, then your husband will give you a sample first. Yang Jun picked up the black bowl and took a big sip directly. As soon as the herbal medicine entered his mouth, Yang Jun felt a great sense of rejection in his body, and almost spit on Wen's face. Fortunately, His major in college was Ninja Turtles, and he finally held back. Your character looks so bad, are you okay? Yang Jun tried to squeeze out a smile. This is a tonic, drink it quickly. When Juan saw this scene, and finally gritted his teeth and swallowed it. Ahem. Yang Jun. Har har har, that's right, if you keep going like this, your injury should heal soon. Chapter 7 Boiling Sugar. Perhaps because he felt that Yang Jun was playing a trick on him, when Juan ignored him for the whole night. Yang Jun also ran all day and was exhausted at this moment. He fell asleep soon. The next morning, Yang Jun was about to set off with a bamboo basket on his back when he was stopped by Wen Huan. It's too dangerous to go up the mountain. Don't go. Yang Jun laughed. How do you feel today? Are you much better? Wen Huan nodded. The effect is really good, and my strength has recovered a little. While speaking, Wen Huan's eyes deliberately avoided Yang Jun. After all, he was afraid that the medicine would kill people yesterday. Well, in the next few days, you drink herbal medicine, and I guarantee that you will be cured. Wen Huan's pupils shrank sharply. Drink every day? Are you crazy? Yang Jun snapped his fingers. Hee, don't worry, I'll go dig some beets, and it won't be bitter anymore. What are beets? Okay, you'll know when I dig them back. Yang Jun went out after saying that. I've traveled to this hellhole, and it's very likely that I'll have to stay here for the rest of my life. The people of Great Jing Dynasty are used to it, but I'm used to the benefits of modern times after all. It's easy to go from simple to luxurious, but it's hard to go from luxurious to frugal. If you want to stay here for a long time, you have to do something good. Yesterday when he went to dig herbs, he passed by a field of wild beets. This thing is a good thing, and he plans to pick some back today. On the other side, when Juan felt that his body had recovered a lot, and he planned to move to the yard to bask in the sun. Just after moving for a while, a woman rushed in. It was Wang Han's wife Shushan. Ouch! Why are you moving around by yourself? What if you get hurt? Please take me to the yard. I want to get some sun. Shushan hurriedly helped Wen Huan to the yard. After all this trouble, your idiot is not dead. What a pity. Shushan said meaningfully. Wen Huan frowned and stared at Shushan. What did you just say? Shushan was stunned and turned her head to look at Wen Huan. But this time, Shushan felt an endless chill. As if she was being seen through, her legs began to tremble uncontrollably. It was at this point that Shushan reacted and waved her hands. No. You misunderstood me. That's not what I meant. I mean it's great that the idiot is not dead. At this point, Shushan rolled her eyes. Didn't you ask me to find you a doctor? I did, and I've paid. Since the fool is not dead, I'll return the remaining money to you. At this point, Shushan took out a string of copper coins from her pocket and carefully placed it on the table beside her. Well, if there is nothing else, I will leave first. The doctor will be here in the next 2 days. You wait patiently at home. After saying this, Shushan left in a flash, fearing that Wen Huan would call her. When Wen Huan saw the copper coins on the table, she fell into deep thought. As the Emperor of Beijing, how could she not understand what Shushan was doing? Her gold chain was worth at least dozens of taels of silver, but now she only got a string of copper coins. Finally, Wen Huan sighed and planned to keep it secret. For her, there was no difference between dozens of copper coins and dozens of taels of silver. When she regained control of the government in the future, she would redeem her mother's gold chain. Wen Huan came out to bask in the sun for one reason, and there was another purpose, which was to wait for Yang Jun to come back. But this wait lasted until dark again. Oh no! Stupid wife! Your idiot fell down. It was the same plot as yesterday. When Wen Huan heard that it was Wang Han's voice, he didn't take it seriously at first. He thought that this guy would only yell. But it wasn't until Wang Han came back with Yang Jun on his back that Wen Huan's eyes widened. Why did he fall down? Wang Han put Yang Jun on the steps and wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. Huh. I'm so tired. Stupid wife, can't you take care of this guy in your family? He went to the mountains to hunt game yesterday, and today he went to pull wild vegetable poles. Is he mentally ill? What's the use of these broken poles? When Huan looked at Yang Jun's injured leg that had been bandaged, but when he looked up, he found that this guy was giggling. What are you laughing at? Is it funny? Wang Han was embarrassed. He probably didn't expect that Wen Huan looked weak, but in fact she was a tigress. Then you two go ahead. I'll leave first. Thank you very much. Wen Huan opened his lips slightly and finally uttered these two words. As the Emperor of Beijing, the word thank you seemed very unfamiliar. Are you okay? Yang Jun waved his hand, not caring about his injury, and turned to show off today's results to Wen Huan. He took out a handful of beets from his backpack. This kind of beets is the same as thin sugarcane, and there is a sweet taste in the mouth when chewed. But the people of Jing Dynasty don't eat this kind of thing. You went up the mountain today just to dig this kind of rubbish. When one pointed at the beets, his face full of displeasure. It is really stupid to hurt yourself like this for this kind of thing. You are really short-sighted. Do you know what this is? This thing is rare. You will know when I make it. What did you say? Who is short-sighted? When one gave Yang Jun a cold look, which made his legs tremble, and he begged for mercy. I am talking about me, don't mind it, just wait, it will be ready soon, I guarantee you will be satisfied. He did not delay, put all the beets in an old jar, wrapped a thick stick with a few strips of cloth, and started to tinker with it. It took half an hour to pound the beets, and the juice inside also spread out. Yang Jun washed the cloth strips and filtered out the residue. Then he got half a jar of turbid soup. Yang Jun smiled. How is it? I wasted a lot of time squeezing beets. When one didn't think much of these wild vegetables, and when she saw what the old man had in his mouth, she felt even more nauseous. Her feeling at the moment was hard to describe in words. Don't you feel disgusted? Is this the good stuff you said? The words were full of contempt. Indeed, this black and white, thick and bubbling juice did not look good, but there was still one step left. Yang Jun picked up some dry firewood from outside, set up a big pot in the yard, poured all the juice into the pot, and then stirred it endlessly. It took more than an hour to boil the juice in the pot, leaving a layer of white at the bottom of the pot. Although this white was not pure, the color was slightly turbid, and it was a white and yellow visual sensation. However, the filtering conditions were limited in this era, and there were indeed many impurities that were not discharged inside. Fortunately, after high-temperature cooking, the things must be clean. Yang Jun dipped his finger into some powder and put it into his mouth, and a sweet taste came over him. This candy is really well made. Chapter 8: The Doctor Arrives. Yang Jun was savoring the sweet taste, but suddenly felt a very ominous look staring at him. He turned his head subconsciously, and then he saw Wen Huan looking at him like a fool. The grinning look was really sour. Why are you looking at me like that? Yang Jun, even if your family is poor, you don't have to eat garbage. Be careful, you will die without knowing how you died. Speaking of this, Wen Huan seemed to have made a decision. I hope you can hold on for a while longer, and life will definitely get better, and life will get better for the people of Beijing. Yang Jun touched his head. You are so crazy, what are you talking about? Wen Huan did not reply to him, but took out the string of copper coins. This little money is for you. Buy whatever you want. Don't eat this kind of garbage, especially in front of me. Yang Jun was stunned. He hurried over to take the copper coins. Tell me the truth. Where did this money come from? I remember clearly that when Jiang Wenhuan brought her back, this girl was penniless. But now she suddenly took out a string of copper coins. It was obviously not earned by her. Her family was poor. Even if a thief came, he would have to take something away. So it was even more impossible that it was money from home. Wen Huan seemed to be a little resistant to this topic. Just take it if I give it to you. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Forget it. Yang Jun smiled. Then I won't be polite. Thank you, my lady. By the way, I haven't taken the medicine tonight yet. Yang Jun was not polite either. He put the copper coins away directly. Although they are nominal husband and wife now, they live together after all. And Yang Jun doesn't think it's shameful to take money from a woman? I am so hungry that I am skin and bones, and it is difficult to survive. Why should I care about face? The most urgent thing is to improve my health first, and then I can return it to the girl 100 times or 1,000 times. This time, when Yang Jun made the soup, he added a lot of white sugar that he extracted himself, and the bitter taste of the herbs was basically covered. Instead, there was a faint sweetness. Yang Jun took a sip, nodded with satisfaction, and handed the herbs to Wen Huan. Drink it quickly. Although when Juan looked disgusted, he still drank it. The main thing is that this herb is really effective. When Juan frowned and put the herbs to his mouth with difficulty, as if he was swallowing poison. When the herbs entered his mouth, there was no expected pain, and his face eased instead. The taste of this herb. Yang Jun smiled proudly. Not bad, right? When Juan nodded slightly. Indeed, it's indeed okay. Why is that? Although she looked calm on the surface, her heart was already in turmoil. As the great emperor of Beijing, he had tasted all kinds of delicacies, but he had never tasted such a taste. There must be something fishy. Yang Jun handed a small jar to Wen Huan, which was filled with the white sugar that had just been extracted. This thing is called sugar. When added to soup or food, it will have a sweet taste. I worked hard for this thing all day and even broke my leg. I was tired of eating this thing before. If you hadn't yelled that the herbal medicine was unpalatable, I wouldn't have bothered to spend so much effort. As soon as Yang Jun finished speaking, he stretched and lay down to sleep. When one drank the herbal medicine while looking at the sleeping Yang Jun and murmured softly, "This person is not that bad." The next morning, Yang Jun just opened his eyes and was still dazed, but when he turned his head to look at the bed, his head suddenly buzzed. Damn, where is the person? At this time, there was no one on Wen Huan's bed. Yang Jun jumped up and ran out of the room. Just as he went out, he saw Wen Huan sitting outside the door to bask in the sun. Yang Jun let out a long breath and patted his chest. "Huh! Sister, you really scared me to death. You are still injured, can you stop running around?" Wen Huan's face darkened. Yang Jun shook his head immediately. No, miss. No. Big sister, that's not right. Oh, I'm just worried about you. Your injuries haven't healed yet. Wen Huan said lightly. My injuries are no longer serious. I just came out to bask in the sun. Yang Jun smiled and nodded. It seems that you have recovered well and can move on your own. I believe that it will not take long for your body to recover. At this point, Yang Jun rubbed his palms. To celebrate your recovery, I will go and cut some meat to eat. Let's eat something nutritious today. When one rolled his eyes, but his words were quite concerned. Be careful. Yes, my lady. When one knew that this guy was talking nonsense to her. If she had the same temper as before, Yang Jun would have died many times. But after just 2 days of contact with him, he found that he seemed to have gotten used to this name. Because the village was still some distance away from the market, and when one was inconvenient to move, he could only sit in the yard to bask in the sun. Until the afternoon, a man in a cloth robe knocked on the door. The man wore a felt hat and poked his head in. Excuse me, is this the home of Yarn Sharzi? Who are you? When the man saw Wen Huan, his eyes were wide open, staring at Wen Huan for a long time. Wen Huan felt uncomfortable being stared at by him. What are you looking at? The man finally reacted, coughed lightly, and spoke in a serious manner. Hello, I'm a doctor, miss, you asked me to come. It's you, sir. As Wen Huan was about to get up, the doctor hurried over. Girl, you are not feeling well, don't move around, be careful not to pull the wound, let me check you. As he said that, the doctor put the bag aside and started to fiddle with it. Wen Huan actually refused in her heart. The reason she wanted to ask the doctor to come before was because her health was very poor. Plus, she thought Yang Jun was dead, so she couldn't stay here for a long time. But now it's different. After drinking the herbs for 2 days, Wen Huan felt that her body had recovered a lot. If you continue like this, you will be healed in no time. There is no need to invite a doctor again. My body has almost recovered. No need to trouble you anymore. You don't need to return the deposit you gave me. How can that be? Girl, you can't ask around. I, who, am famous for my warm heart. It is the rule of our profession to take money and help people get rid of disasters. At this point, Doctor Who touched his beard on his chin. And I see that you are pale and weak. It is obvious that you have internal injuries. If you don't get treatment in time, you may have a root cause of the disease in the future. Wen Huan refused in her heart, but she couldn't resist Doctor Who's words. She didn't want to burden Yang Jun because of her health. Anyway, the doctor has come, so why not let him check the injury? Okay. Chapter 9, Destroying Innocence. When one lifted the hem of her skirt, revealing a shocking scar on her jade white leg. Although she had recovered a lot, it was still clearly visible. Doctor Who pretended to be shocked. "Oh girl, your position is very dangerous. Fortunately, I came in time, otherwise it would have caused a disaster." Wen Huan looked puzzled. "Doctor Who, are you exaggerating? It's just a small scar, why is it so serious?" Doctor Who waved his hands hurriedly. "No, no. You can't say that. Although your injury is on your leg, the human body is so complicated. And all things are interdependent. What's more, you lost too much blood, so if you hurt your thigh, it may also affect other parts of your body. I must give you a comprehensive examination." Wen Huan frowned slightly. "No need, I'm fine." No, you have to see me. Since I've received the money, I should do my part." "Girl, don't refuse again. What if I don't diagnose you and something happens to you? My reputation will be ruined." In the end, Wen Huan was still not shocked by Hu Langjung's words. Hu Langjung first helped Wen Huan to the inner room, lifted up her skirt, and began to gently massage around Wen Huan's wound. This massage lasted for several minutes. After all, he was a strange man. Wen Huan frowned, feeling uncomfortable all over. "Is it almost done?" Hu Langjung gently retracted his palm. "The local massage is complete, and then please take off your coat." Wen Huan frowned. "Take off your clothes." "Why? I should have made it very clear just now. Although the girl's injury is in her leg, it affects her body balance." At this point, Hu Langjung once again put on a master look. "So this doctor is going to give you a comprehensive examination. Please cooperate." Wen Huan's face was gloomy. "Comprehensive examination? Are you serious?" Hu Langjung deliberately put on a gentleman's appearance. "Of course, I must be responsible for my patients. And don't worry, I am a very upright person and will never do anything excessive." Wen Huan decisively refused. "No, Doctor Hu, please go back." Hu Langjung's face darkened and he immediately began to sell his pity. "Girl, to be honest, your body must be fully examined, otherwise there will be a disaster. I have been practicing medicine for so many years, and I have never delayed any patient in my hands. If something goes wrong with you, my reputation will be ruined. Alas, it's a pity." Wen Huan's ears were still relatively soft, and he quickly took off their veil. Hu Langjung showed a barely perceptible evil smile at the corner of his mouth. "Okay, it will be done soon." The massage was normal at the beginning, but gradually, Doctor Who's hands became restless. Suddenly, his hands gradually shifted downwards. Wen Huan reacted quickly, dodged and stood up, and slapped him with his backhand. There was a crisp sound. Doctor Who covered his cheek and turned to the side. "Flirtatious man, get out of here immediately, or I will report to the police." Wen Huan was not a fool. Since he started to treat her, there has been no substantial progress, and it seems more like he is taking advantage of her. Especially his last move, it was a done deal. I thought Doctor Who would be scared and flee when he heard the word, report to the police, but who knew he laughed, as if he didn't take Wen Huan's words to heart at all. "Young lady, what did you just say? Do you want to report to the police?" As soon as their voice fell, Doctor Who began to approach Wen Huan. Wen Huan was forced to retreat gradually and soon reached the corner. "I'll say it one last time, get out. Otherwise, if the government officials come, you will die a miserable death." Doctor Who laughed. "You go and sue. I've been treating the county magistrate for several years and I'm his best friend. Who do you think the government office will help?" Wen Huan retorted. "The government office is a fair place. How can it bend the law for personal gain?" Har har har. "Miss, you're too naive, aren't you? With my relationship with the county magistrate, I can set your shabby house on fire, and it won't matter to me." Wen Huan was shocked. The government office under his jurisdiction was so dark. Seeing that the matter was exposed, Doctor Who no longer pretended to be a gentleman. He took off his cloth robe and approached Wen Huan while rubbing his hands. Just as he was about to reach out, he was slapped in the face again. This time, the pain on his face was symmetrical. Doctor Who was not annoyed, but laughed even louder. "Har har har, young lady, you have a fierce temper. I like you." He rushed forward. Wen Huan still had strength. He moved around and looked for opportunities to resist. The room was too narrow, leaving too little room for him to move. He was soon forced into a corner. Hu Lanzhong's evil smile was not concealed at all. Young lady, come with me. What's so good about that idiot? What can he give you? As long as you serve me well, I promise to make you eat delicious food and drink spicy drinks. You are worthy. The anger in Wen Huan's eyes seemed to burn everything. I didn't expect that he, the great emperor of Beijing, would be humiliated by such a guy. When I regain power, I will definitely kill his entire clan. But there was obviously not much time at this moment. Hu Lanzhong immediately pounced on Wen Huan. Wen Huan struggled with all his strength, but it was a pity that his body had not recovered yet and his strength was far behind. As the saying goes, in the face of absolute strength, any skill is meaningless. Hu Lanzhong was like a beast at this time, tearing Wen Huan's clothes open, revealing her white shoulders on both sides. Har har har. The young lady is so tender, don't worry, I will treat you gently later. Wen Huan struggled madly. You will die miserably. Wen Huan swung his left and right hands madly, finally got rid of his right hand, touched the short knife next to him, and stabbed accurately. R. The pig-killing scream resounded throughout the venue. Hu Lanzhong covered his bloody arm, his face was squeezed into a ball. Damn it, you are crazy. Wen Huan narrowed her eyes. You are the one who deserves to die. The next moment, she did not retreat but advanced, and took the lead in attacking Hu Lanzhong. While she could still hold the knife, she had to make a final struggle. This was also her only chance to win. If she failed, she would have to commit suicide. At first, Doctor Hu was really unable to resist, but the next moment, he threw the medicine box on the table over. Wen Huan dodged, and in this gap, Doctor Hu kicked the injured leg. R. Wen Huan cried out in pain and half knelt on the ground. Doctor Hu seized the opportunity and kicked his legs twice, and the wounds that had finally healed began to bleed again. The knife was also kicked out, and he didn't even have a chance to commit suicide. Wen Huan's little face was extremely pale, without a trace of blood, and he couldn't stop Doctor Who's disgusting behavior. Come on. I'll take care of you today. 2 tears fell from the corners of Wen Huan's eyes, and he couldn't help but think of that man. At this moment, the door was suddenly pushed open by someone, and Yang Jun held a piece of pork belly in his hand and lifted it up to show off to Wen Huan. My wife, take a look at the pork that my husband bought. It's fat and lean, and I can make some lard for you to cook with in the future. I'm really an expert at home. You say. As soon as Yang Jun raised his eyes, his body seemed to be electrocuted, and he stood there in a daze. Chapter 10, I'm going to die. Damn it. How dare you touch my woman? Yang Jun threw the pork at Doctor Who ducked his head. I have to say that this guy's movement is still good. But it can be seen that he is panicking at this moment. Doctor Who stood up and pointed at Yang Jun. You stupid fool, what do you want to do? Fuck you. Yang Jun flew up and knocked Doctor Who off Wen Huan's body. Are you okay? Yang Jun was anxious to check Wen Huan's injuries, and accidentally reached out to touch him, but when he raised his hand was covered with blood. At this time, Wen Huan's face was pale, obviously he had lost too much blood and his strength was exhausted. How are you? You beast. I'm not done with you. Yang Jun clenched his fists tightly, and was extremely angry. Although he and Wen Huan were only nominally married, after spending the past 2 days together, Yang Jun had an indescribable feeling for Wen Huan. Besides, everyone has a sense of territory. How could he be a coward if he dared to come to his house to harm others? I'll fight you. But before Yang Jun could get up, Wen Huan's eyes widened. Be careful. As soon as Yang Jun turned his head, he felt a gust of wind whistling in his ears. I saw Doctor Who holding a chair and smashing it towards him fiercely. You stupid fool, dare to hit me. I'll kill you today. It's broken. Yang Jun's heart skipped a beat. Just now, he was anxious to check Wen Huan's injuries, but he didn't expect to be counterattacked by this guy. Seeing the stool was about to fall, Wen Huan suddenly pushed him hard. Yang Jun was pushed away by Wen Huan, but the stool fell heavily on Wen Huan. R. Wen Huan screamed and was knocked down by Doctor Who. Wife. Yang Jun roared, but Doctor Who turned his head and glared at Yang Jun fiercely. Stinky fool. Are you really brave enough? How dare you go against me? I will make you regret it. Yang Jun gritted his teeth. You beast. I will kill you. Yang Jun rushed towards Doctor Who. At this time, he had thought of hundreds of ways to kill Doctor Who, but his body was too weak. In a place like Great Jing Dynasty, what's the point of having a deputy marshal's face? His body was so weak that even a strong wind could blow him down. But Doctor Who in front of him was white and fat, obviously overnourished. Yang Jun had just punched Hu Lanzhong, and Hu Lanzhong kicked him hard to the ground. This kick directly made Yang Jun gasp. His internal organs were churning, and he couldn't even stand up. Hu Lanzhong clapped his hands and looked at Yang Jun with contempt. HMPH. Fool, you dare to fight me with your ability? I can kill you with just one finger. Yang Jun gritted his teeth. I won't let you go. Hu Lanzhong laughed. Looking at Yang Jun was like looking at a complete fool. Did I hear you right? You're already lying on the ground, and you still dare to shout at me. You're so brave. At this point, Hu Lanzhong turned his head and looked at Wen Huan. What a pity. Although this young lady is a little disabled, she is beautiful. But she is with a stupid fool like you. It's a waste of talent. Fool, don't you know how to have sex with a woman? I'm just being merciful today, so I'll give you a practice on the spot. Yang Jun's eyes widened. You, what do you want to do? If you dare to mess around, I'll castrate you. Hu Lanzhong laughed arrogantly and walked towards Wen Huan. Stupid fool, open your dog eyes and look at me clearly. See how I play with your woman. Hu Lanzhong just finished speaking, and he pounced on Wen Huan with a lewd smile. Wen Huan no longer had the strength to shout at this time, and he grabbed the bed sheet tightly. I'm going to kill you. But the voice was like a mosquito. Yang Jun gritted his teeth. At this moment, his mind was blank, but he had one idea, that is, he must protect the woman in front of him. A trace of blood flowed from the corner of Yang Jun's mouth. Yes, he had even bitten the corner of his mouth. But the intense pain made him sober up a lot, and he rushed towards Doctor Who with all his strength. I'll fight you. Yang Jun threw Doctor Who down and pressed him down. Stupid fool. You dare to fight back? I'm going to beat you to death today. Hu Doctor punched Yang Jun's head, but Yang Jun held him tightly. Let go of me. I'll kill you. I'll let go of you. After a while, blood flowed from Yang Jun's forehead. At this time, his mind was in a daze, and he had no other thoughts at all. The only thing he knew was that he must not let go. Seeing that he was about to lose his grip, but at this moment, he saw Wen Huan holding a dagger and staggering over. You beast! I must kill you. Otherwise, I will never be able to get rid of the hatred in my heart. As soon as he finished speaking, Wen Huan stabbed Doctor Who in the back with a dagger. Doctor Who screamed. How dare you, a bitch, hurt me? Yang Jun reacted quickly and held Doctor Who tightly. Get out of my way. Doctor Who just cursed twice, but suddenly his pupils contracted. Yang Jun saw this scene clearly. Doctor Who even forgot to resist at this moment. Huh. Yang Jun looked back in confusion, but the moment he turned around and saw it, his head buzzed. He was almost scared to death. At this time, Wen Huan was holding a dagger and stabbed Doctor Who fiercely. And the place where he stabbed was just his neck. No. Don't do it. Doctor Who was terrified, watching the dagger getting closer and closer to his neck, and Yang Jun was also scared. Hey! Stop messing around, are you crazy? But Wen Huan's eyes were fierce at this moment, how could she look like a weak woman? She was clearly a killing god. Hu Lanzhong was trembling all over, and was already scared to death at this moment, and had no courage to resist at all. Yang Jun was quick-witted, grabbed his shoulder and pushed him hard to the opposite side. Wen Huan stabbed Hu Lanzhong's left eye with a dagger. Blood splashed immediately. Hu Lanzhong rolled off the bed, covering his eyes and rolling back and forth on the ground. My eyes can't see. Wen Huan tightly grasped the dagger, her forehead was full of cold sweat, and several wounds on her body had broken open, and blood was oozing out. But she seemed to feel no pain at this moment, only bloodthirstiness in her eyes. Only the anger to kill Hu Lanzhong. Beast! I want your dog's life. Yang Jun hurriedly grabbed Wen Huan and roared at Hu Lanzhong on the ground. What the hell are you still standing there for? Run! You're losing your eyes now, but you'll lose your life later. Doctor Who was stunned, screaming and running towards the door. He disappeared in a flash. Don't chase him, he's already run away. Do you really want to kill him? When one turned his head and glared at Yang Jun. Chapter 11. Isn't he afraid of the government? At this moment, Yang Jun felt hairy all over. Good boy, when he was a kid, he did bad things and was glared at by the teacher, but he didn't feel this way. The woman in front of him just gave him a look, but he was stiff all over, and couldn't even move. You, this kind of beast should die. Why did you stop me? Yang Jun swallowed his saliva. If we kill someone, the government will definitely not let us go. When one pointed in the direction of the door. Why does he dare to be so unscrupulous? Isn't he afraid of the government? Yang Jun moved his mouth. Although he was a crossover, he retained all the memories of his original body, so he naturally knew who Doctor Who was. Yang Jun sighed. He is a famous doctor in our area for more than 10 miles. Even the county magistrate usually asks him for treatment. The relationship is there, how can it be the same? When one clenched his fists. I didn't expect that my Great Jing Dynasty has been corrupted to such an extent. At this point, when one suddenly raised his head and shouted angrily. How can you be worthy of your own people? Yang Jun was confused and didn't understand what Wen Huan meant by this. Just when Yang Jun was about to ask, Wen Huan's eyes suddenly turned black and she fell straight down. Hey, what's wrong with you, my lady? Yang Jun rushed to Wen Huan anxiously, and Wen Huan fell straight on him. Yang Jun hurriedly felt Wen Huan's pulse, but found that her pulse was very weak. And the girl's face was frighteningly pale. It was obviously too much blood loss. It seems that she had been holding on just now, it should be that breath, now that breath is lost, so she fainted. In this case, the wound must be treated in time. If the bleeding continues, it may be life-threatening. Now there is no high-tech medical care in the future, just a blood transfusion or a nutrient injection can solve the problem. In this dynasty, if there is excessive blood loss, even if a miracle doctor descends from the sky, it is estimated that he will be helpless. As the saying goes, qi is the essence of blood, this is the truth. Yang Jun hurriedly put Wen Huan on the bed. Not only was there a wound on his leg, but there was also a wound on his lower abdomen, which was almost all broken. Fortunately, there were some herbs at the door, some of which could effectively stop bleeding. Yang Jun hurriedly dragged his tired body to the door to pick some herbs and crushed them in a jar. Looking at Wen Huan who was unconscious on the bed, Yang Jun muttered to himself. My wife, I have no intention of offending you, but your wound must be treated quickly, otherwise your life will be in danger. Don't blame me when you wake up. At this point, Yang Jun began to work together. Gently took off Wen Huan's clothes. Looking at Wen Huan's fair body, as white as mutton fat jade, Yang Jun felt that there were 10,000 grass XXs running wildly in his heart. Good guy. This spring scene in front of him was simply a deadly rhythm for a young man like himself. Even when applying medicine to Wen Huan, Yang Jun could feel his hands shaking constantly. Damn, you are such a loser. It was not easy to treat Wen Huan's wound. Yang Jun was sweating profusely. It would not work to just use herbs to replenish her. He had to get something to replenish her blood and qi. Although he bought pork, Wen Huan was too weak to eat it now, and pork itself did not replenish her blood and qi. It had to be a local chicken from the market. It would take no time to make a pot of beautiful chicken soup. Thinking of this, Yang Jun planned to go to the market to buy chicken. It was only afternoon now, so he should be able to catch up if he was faster. However, Yang Jun had just taken 2 steps when he suddenly stopped and muttered to himself. That's not right. Where is the gold necklace on her neck? Since Wen Huan was in a coma, Yang Jun could do whatever he wanted. Yang Jun searched Wen Huan again and confirmed that there was no gold necklace. Damn it, was it stolen by that Who doctor? It seems that blinding one of your eyes is really a bargain for you. Yang Jun cursed to himself, and then took the few copper coins to the market. This money was not even enough to buy a native chicken. Yang Jun planned to go to the market to buy half a chicken first. At worst, he would not satisfy his craving for it. When Yang Jun arrived at the market, it was already the latter half of the day. The sky was gradually getting dark. Most people in the market had closed their stalls at this time, but the vendors selling native chickens were still there. Yang Jun picked for a long time, but in fact he was short of money and kept bargaining with the boss. Finally, he really annoyed the boss, but he couldn't drive him away, and he was so nice. He blew up a pockmarked face into a beautiful woman, and the boss didn't care about her husband's obstruction and stuffed a whole chicken into Yang Jun. Yang Jun looked at the native chicken in his hand and sighed helplessly. Alas! When will this poor life end? It seems that I have to find a way to make some money. I can't be a poor ghost forever. After all, I came from the modern era. If I can't make a living, how can I hold my head up? Just at this moment, a familiar figure passed by Yang Jun. She was carrying a lot of bags and a bunch of pork. While admiring the woman's strength, Yang Jun also found that she was an old acquaintance of his. It was Wang Han's wife Shushan. Seeing Shushan carrying so many things, Yang Jun was a little puzzled. Although Wang Han's family had a better life than his own, they were also in a difficult situation, and even had difficulty getting enough food. But today, she suddenly bought so many things, which was indeed a bit strange. Yang Jun walked up quickly and patted Shushan's shoulder gently. Where did you get rich? You bought so much at once. Shushan turned around suddenly, and when she saw Yang Jun, she screamed as if she saw a ghost. Then she took several steps back. What's wrong? Do I look so scary? Shushan didn't dare to look Yang Jun in the eye, and she obviously felt guilty. What do you want? Yang Jun was confused. What can I do? I just saw you and said hello to you. Oh, I'm glad it's nothing. Why are you so strange today? Shushan shook her head like a rattle. No. Nothing. If it's nothing, I'll leave first. As soon as their voice fell, Shushan didn't even look back, and ran away with the things in her hand. Yang Jun looked at Shushan's back and touched his head and muttered to himself. What's wrong with this guy? Why does he look like he saw a ghost when he saw me? After Yang Jun returned home, Wen Huan had already woken up and sat on the bed, staring at the ceiling in a daze. My wife, I'm back. You must be starving. I'll make you some chicken soup. This stuff is good for replenishing qi and blood. I promise you'll be alive and kicking in 2 days. Wen Huan didn't even look at Yang Jun. The medicine you gave me. Yang Jun's smile suddenly stopped. Chapter 12. What can I do for you? Yang Jun touched his head awkwardly. Oh, because your wound was torn at that time. If you didn't get emergency treatment, you might lose too much blood and die. At this point, Yang Jun raised 3 fingers to the sky. I can guarantee with my personality that I just took off your clothes just to bandage your wound. I definitely didn't have any other ideas. Wen Huan glanced at Yang Jun. Come here. Yang Jun was still a little puzzled. Is there something wrong with this woman? She was just interrogating me like a criminal. Why is she so gentle now? Is this the so-called dual personality? But to be honest, I really don't have any face in front of this woman. Every time when one opens her mouth, I feel like I'm being pushed by an invisible force. I always feel that if I don't listen to this woman, there will be serious consequences. Yang Jun sat next to Wen Huan, still laughing the last second. What can I do for you? But the next second, Wen Huan suddenly reached out and grabbed Yang Jun's collar, and a shining dagger appeared in Wen Huan's other hand. Instantly, the dagger was against Yang Jun's neck. Yang Jun swallowed his saliva. Oh my god, I almost died. My wife, what are you doing? Let's talk it over. You'd better not do anything else to me, otherwise the consequences will be terrible. Yang Jun nodded repeatedly. We agreed, didn't we? I'll send you away after you recover. Also, you're seriously injured now, can you please not move? If the wound breaks open again, won't I offend you again? When one knew that his goal had been achieved, and his body was just as Yang Jun said, especially at the wound, there was a faint tearing pain. Thinking of this, Wen Huan retracted his hand. Are you hungry? I'll make you some chicken soup. This kind of chicken is very nutritious, and Yang Jun picked some wild mushrooms when he came back just now. People in Great Jing Dynasty basically don't eat this kind of thing. It's not that they didn't discover it, but some people couldn't tell whether mushrooms were poisonous or not when they ate them before. Many people were attracted by the bright colors of poisonous mushrooms, so they would get into trouble after eating them. And the mushrooms that Yang Jun found were old and ugly, and basically had no toxicity. Even if there was a little bit of it, it would be completely gone after being sterilized by high temperature. Chicken stewed with mushrooms, this is a great tonic recipe. Yang Jun was very satisfied with his cooking skills. It's a pity that it's not the corn season now, otherwise the soup would be more delicious. So it's said that a little modern knowledge is still very delicious when it comes back to ancient times. It took more than an hour to cook, and the whole room was filled with the aroma of chicken soup. Yang Jun wanted to taste the mushrooms, but when one pushed him hard just after he put the chopsticks to his mouth. Yang Jun's small body was so fragile that he fell to the ground with a plop. Hey! You are too domineering, right? You can't be reluctant to give me a sip of the chicken soup just because it's made for you. When one panted, his eyes extremely cold. Are you crazy? This is poison. Who told you to put it in the food? Yang Jun pointed to the mushrooms in the pot. Are you talking about this? When Juan nodded. I have always had someone to serve me in the first half of my life, even she knows it, but Yang Jun doesn't know it. This pot of chicken soup is gone, hurry up. Throw it away, so as not to harm others. But Yang Jun stood up from the ground and patted himself gently. My wife, these mushrooms are not poisonous. I picked them for you to make soup. They are all good things. When Juan looked at him puzzled. But Yang Jun was full of confidence and boasted one bite after another. The only flaw is that there is no salty taste. The development of the Great Jing Dynasty is actually very backward. Compared with the same period, it may be relatively good. However, from people's clothing to daily necessities, they are all relatively poor. Here, whether it is the princes and nobles or ordinary people, they basically wear coarse cloth clothes. Maybe the princes and nobles are slightly better, but the production methods are similar. They may be more delicate, or there are more patterns, which can look better when worn. Like the clothes on Wen Huan, ordinary people can't afford them. As for daily necessities, let alone, rich people can eat coarse salt, but ordinary people like them can only eat a few bites a year, basically vinegar cloth. This stuff is disgusting to eat, but it has to be eaten to supplement the trace elements of the human body. And the chicken soup cooked by Yang Jun uses some wild lemons. This kind of wild lemon is sour when it is ripe, but it is slightly salty when it is not ripe. How about trying it? When one frowned, obviously choosing between food and life. However, seeing Yang Jun's confident look, the girl finally compromised. As soon as she took a sip, her eyes widened immediately. How is it? It tastes good, right? At this time, Yang Jun was like a child receiving a reward. When Juan also reacted and coughed dryly. It's okay. TSK, just pretend, it tastes good. In this shabby little house, a man and a woman were drinking chicken soup under the dim candlelight. This little life was really warm. After dinner, Yang Jun asked nonchalantly while cleaning up the dishes. By the way, where do you usually put your things? When Juan didn't react at first and looked up at Yang Jun. I want to ask you about your gold chain. When Yang Jun said this, the expression on Wen Huan's face changed immediately. Although he reacted quickly, he still caught it. What does it have to do with you? Yang Jun waved his hand quickly. Don't get me wrong, I don't mean anything else, but our place is poor and chaotic. If we lose money, we may cause unnecessary trouble. When Juan thought for a while. I sold that gold chain. Sold it? Yes, I sold it to Wang Han's wife. I thought you had an accident, so I was going to make a coffin for you. Yang Jun was slightly stunned, and then laughed. Are you concerned about me? But what he got in return was just Wen Huan's cold eyes. Don't get me wrong, it's just that you have been mediocre all your life, and you just want to have some face after death. Yang Jun was choked and touched his nose awkwardly. Okay, you pack the rest of the money. Yang Jun was just a kind reminder, he didn't expect to get other people's money at all. I've already given it to you. Yang Jun waved his hand and stepped back. Hey. Don't be so rude. After all, I have taken care of you for so long, even if I have no credit, I have worked hard, right? Chapter 13 The County Magistrate's Backing. And your big gold chain is worth a lot of money. We ordinary people may not be able to afford it even if we work for a lifetime. You can't throw this dirty water on me. Didn't I give you a string of copper coins? Facing Wen Huan's dead look, Yang Jun finally couldn't help but explode. Are you kidding me? Your gold chain is almost as thick as your fingers. Just exchanged for a string of copper coins. Who the hell is so wicked? The rest was paid for by Wang Han's wife to see a doctor for me. That's just a few dollars. And if I came back a little later, you would be. Originally, he wanted to complain a few words, but facing Wen Huan's extremely aggressive eyes, he didn't say anything after all. No wonder he met Shushan at the market. This woman was like seeing a ghost. She made a fuss for a long time. It turned out that she had done something wrong. I will go to Wang Han tomorrow morning. Let him judge what is wrong and see what kind of ugly thing his wife has done. On the other side, the big drum at the gate of the county magistrate's office was struck, and a series of muffled groans were heard. This kind of drum is usually only beaten by the victim when there is an injustice. Soon, 2 soldiers from the government office came out. Hey, 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 stop beating. Who comes to beat the drum so late at night? If you have any injustice, tell us tomorrow morning. The county magistrate needs to rest. As soon as the man saw the 2 soldiers, he threw the drumstick aside. Take me to see the county magistrate. The 2 soldiers glanced at him and felt that he looked familiar, but they confirmed that they had not seen him before. Because at this time, Dr. Hu's eye was wrapped several times, and the rest of the white cloth was wrapped on his head. As the saying goes, a doctor cannot heal himself, so the cloth strips he wrapped himself with did look a little funny. What do you do? Can you see the county magistrate whenever you want? That's right. If everyone is like you, wouldn't the county magistrate be so busy? Hu Langjong quickly pointed at the tip of his nose. Look carefully, you too. I'm Hu Goshen. The 2 soldiers rubbed their eyes hard, and then they could see the person clearly. Oh, why is it Hu Langjong? You are wrapped up like this, I really didn't recognize you. That's right, Hu Langjong. Who is it? How dare you make you like this? Take me to find the county magistrate. Please come in. Because he is the only doctor in a radius of more than 10 miles, the county magistrate will basically look for him when he has a headache or fever. So Hu Langjong has a high status in the entire government office. The 2 soldiers took Hu Langjong to the county magistrate's inner room, and at this time, the county magistrate Wang Jingqian was flirting with a young woman. Look at the name of this county magistrate, he really understands the rules. Wang Jingqian, doesn't it mean that the Jing Dynasty is powerful? This is the concubine he just took in a few days, and the novelty has not worn off yet. It's just that this person looks a bit strange. It's not that he is too ugly, but the 2 dark circles under his eyes are really big, hanging under his eyes, like 2 black eyeballs. He looks so unlucky, I always feel that he doesn't look like a county magistrate. As soon as Dr. Hu saw Wang Jingqian, he immediately knelt down with a plop. County magistrate. Please make a decision for me. Wang Jingqian was stunned. Goshen. How did you get into this state? Hu Goshen rubbed his legs on the ground and crawled directly in front of Wang Jingqian. He was crying. Lord Wang. You must make a decision for me. I will never see again in this eye. Wang Jingqian frowned. Did someone do this to you? Hu Goshen nodded repeatedly. Yes. He was blinded by a knife. Wang Jingqian slapped the table next to him. This county magistrate wants to see who dares to be so presumptuous. How dare you hurt the doctor like this? At this point, Wang Jingqian patted Hu Goshen's shoulder. Goshen, you have been treating me and my family for the past few years. I remember all these favors in my heart. Don't worry. This county magistrate will definitely make the decision for you on this matter. I will send someone over in the next 2 days to catch the murderer directly. I will let you deal with him when the time comes. Goshen wiped the tears from the corners of his eyes and nodded heavily. Thank you, county magistrate. Then I will go back first. Don't worry, I still want to ask you something. At this point, Wang Jingqian sent his concubine away. What's wrong with my body? It's been 2 or 3 years, and I've been drinking the tonic you prescribed for me on time, but why is it not getting better? Hu Goshen looked embarrassed. This. County magistrate, physical conditioning is a long-term thing, don't rush it. Wang Jingqian sighed. Well, this is all I can do for now. After Hu Goshen went out, he spit a mouthful of thick phlegm to the side in a very vulgar way, and muttered to himself. Bar. You old thing. Don't you see how old you are? You still think about having concubines all day long. Your broken body can't be restored by eating anything. Then his eyes became fierce. A stinky blind man, a bitch. If I don't make you regret it for the rest of your life, I won't be called Hu Goshen. On the other side, Yang Jun didn't know that trouble was coming. He got up early in the morning and didn't have time to make breakfast, and rushed directly to Wang Han's house. I heard that Wang Han has been working in recent days, so I have to go early to avoid being disappointed. But Yang Jun is lucky today. Just arrived at Wang Han's door. Before he had time to knock on the door, Wang Han came out humming a little song. Hey, what a rare guest, blind Yan, why did you think of looking for me today? Yang Jun touched the tip of his nose. If this matter is said directly, everyone will be in trouble. But if I let myself swallow this bad breath, it is absolutely impossible. So I have to say it, but I have to pay attention to the way and method. What are you doing? Yang Jun asked knowingly. Nonsense, of course I'm going to work. These 2 days, a merchant family in the East Market asked someone to build a wall. The price is okay, mainly for meals, and I can see some meat every day. Speaking of this, Wang Han looked as if he had suddenly realized something. Holding his hands in front of his chest, he looked at Yang Jun with a smile. Silly boy, you know the news, don't you? Do you want to go with me? Yang Jun smiled awkwardly. Wang Han waved his hand. I advise you not to think about it. You can't do it at all. Yang Jun looked puzzled. You can't do it, what do you mean? Wang Han poked his body. You kid, aren't you asking knowingly? What can you do with your small body? We do physical work. If you don't have any real skills, you'd better stay at home. Wang Han was ready to leave. Okay, let's talk when I come back. I'm almost out of time. Chapter 14 to get the silver back. Yang Jun gritted his teeth. Originally, he didn't want to tell Wang Han. Because Wang Han is one of the few people in the village who is willing to treat him as a friend. Another point is that Wang Han has helped him a lot before. But he needs money now. Not only to solve the problem of food and clothing, he also needs to make money with money. But even if it snowballs, at least he has to have it first, right? At worst, he can compensate Wang Han later. Thinking of this, Yang Jun grabbed Wang Han's arm. Wait a minute. I have something to tell you. Wang Han was stunned. Just say it directly, why be so mysterious? And can you hurry up? I really can't hurry. Yang Jun took a deep breath. Before, the village said that I fell to death. My wife gave your wife a gold chain before. Originally, she wanted your wife to exchange the money to buy me a coffin, but I'm still alive, right? Wang Han frowned. He also felt that this matter was not simple. Go on. Your wife only returned a string of copper coins. Wang Han's eyes suddenly widened. What? There is such a thing? Yang Jun waved his hand quickly. Wang Han, you have been good to me for so long. I am not here to blame you. I am just afraid that your wife has been cheated. Why don't you ask? Wang Han turned around quickly. Fool, wait here for a while. I will definitely ask you about what happened today. Damn this stinky old woman. How dare you hide such a big thing from me? Wang Han walked in angrily. After a while, an unhappy voice came from the yard. Ouch, what are you doing today? Loosen my hair quickly. It hurts. Shut up. Follow me obediently. I have something to ask you. A few seconds later, Wang Han pulled Shushan's hair and pulled her out. Yang Jun hurried forward to stop him. Damn, the people of Great Jing Dynasty are really simple and rough. If it were modern times, I guess they would have received a pair of silver bracelets. Hey! What are you doing? Can't you just say it nicely? Wang Han slapped Shushan in the face. There was a crisp snap. Shushan covered her face and burst into tears. You are such a heartless man. I work hard every day for this family, and you hit me. Do you have any conscience? Woo woo woo. Wang Han pointed at Yang Jun. Stop crying here. I ask you, where did you put the gold chain of Yang Jun's wife? As soon as these words came out, Shushan's crying stopped immediately. She looked up at Yang Jun, her eyes obviously dodging, and she didn't dare to look at Yang Jun at all. Then, I sold that gold chain. Where did you sell the gold chain? Yang Jun was a little anxious at this time. He knew how important this gold chain was to Wen Huan. It's the pawn shop in our market. Yang Jun was relieved when he heard it was a pawn shop. To be honest, the pawn shop makes money from the price difference, especially for heirlooms like Wen Huan, which are too valuable and difficult to find suitable buyers easily. As long as it is sold to the pawn shop, you still have a chance to redeem it. Shushan, this matter is not your fault. My wife asked you to help her sell the gold chain, but you won't be cheated, right? How much did this gold chain sell for? Shushan wiped the cold sweat from her forehead. Actually it didn't sell for much, It doesn't matter, I will go to the pawn shop later. All the things collected in the pawn shop will be clearly marked with prices. If he only dares to give a few copper coins, then I will sue the officials. Who will end up in trouble then? Sue the officials. When Shushan heard these two words, the expression on her face changed immediately. After all, she is just a peasant woman. When has she ever seen such a scene? Wang Han frowned. What did you say? A gold chain was sold for dozens of copper coins. How is that possible? Yang Jun looked at Shushan with a fake smile. Shushan, it should be more than this, right? Yes. Wang Han's eyes widened with anger, and he raised his palm again, ready to slap her. Yang Jun quickly stopped him. Fool! Don't worry about this. This old woman is getting bolder and bolder. If I don't beat her up today, I don't know what she will do in the future. Yang Jun quickly pushed Wang Han away. Why are you hitting her? She didn't do it on purpose. She must have been careless, so she only gave me change. Am I right? Yang Jun looked at Shushan with a smile. After all, this gold chain is worth at least 60 or 70 taels of silver. How could Shushan only give a dozen copper coins? It must be a mistake. She can't treat us as fools, right? When Yang Jun said this, Shushan suddenly understood and nodded heavily. Yes, I was careless. Yang Jun, come with me, I'll give you the rest of the money. Shushan ignored Wang Han and grabbed Yang Jun's arm and pulled him in. Yang Jun waved at Wang Han before going in. Okay, all this is a misunderstanding. Go and get busy. It will be too late to go to work later. Wang Han patted his head. How could I forget this? I tell you, old woman, you'd better explain it clearly to the fool, otherwise I'll see how I deal with you when I come back. Wang Han left after saying a harsh word. Shushan pulled Yang Jun in and stared at him with an embarrassed look. Yang Jun. Thank you for helping me out just now, otherwise I would definitely have been beaten up today. Yang Jun looked indifferent and stretched out his hand directly. There should be a lot of silver left, right? Shushan, can you give me the rest of the silver? Shushan nodded awkwardly. She went into the inner room and fiddled with it for a long time before coming out. Yang Jun, I have to explain this to you. You were in a hurry to get the money, so this chain was only pawned for 50 taels of silver. I asked the doctor to use some of it. In the past few days, I bought a few more clothes for my family and paid off some debts, so. Shushan handed the remaining silver to Yang Jun. There are only more than 20 taels left. I'm really sorry. Can you please not tell my head of the family? If he knew I spent so much money, he would definitely beat me to death. Yang Jun shook his head and took back all the remaining silver. No need, the rest is my thanks to you too. Wang Han has helped me a lot, so I'll give him this money. Shushan was happy then. Really? Thank you so much, Yang Jun. If my family gets better in the future, I will definitely find a way to repay you. Shushan put her hands together and bowed to Yang Jun. Yang Jun didn't have time to talk nonsense with Shushan, and ran directly to the market. After more than an hour, Yang Jun finally came to the pawn shop in the market. This was the only one here, and he would never make a mistake. Chapter 15, Confused. Yang Jun didn't hesitate and walked straight into the pawn shop. As soon as I entered, I saw a wooden window with a guy standing there. Hello, sir. Are you pawning or redeeming something? Yang Jun touched the tip of his nose. It can be considered as a ransom. Then please show me the receipt. Yang Jun handed a note to the waiter. This was the note Shushan had just given him, along with the remaining 20 taels of silver. The guy looked down. So that's it. You have to wait a moment. I'll go ask my boss. It was my boss who took it. Yang Jun nodded slightly. Thank you for your help. Less than 2 minutes after the guy left, a middle-aged fat man came out. Don't know why? When Yang Jungang saw the fat man for the first time, he felt that this guy was definitely a profiteer. He has a smiling face, and when he shows his teeth, you can see with your own eyes that one of his teeth is inlaid with gold. He was wearing a lot of wooden bead jewelry, and you could tell at first glance that he wasn't a good person. As soon as the fat man came in front of Yang Jun, he took the initiative to stretch out his hand. "Hello, little brother. I am the owner of this pawn shop. Others call me Big Gold Teeth." Yang Jun and Da Jin Ya shook hands in a friendly manner. "Hello, shopkeeper, can I see that string of gold jewels?" Big Gold Teeth smiled and waved his hand. "Do you want to redeem it today? If so, let's talk about the price. As you know, this piece of jewelry has been kept in my pawn shop for a few days, so I will charge a symbolic additional commission. After all, I make a living from this." Yang Jun nodded. He could naturally understand this kind of thing. After all, everyone has to make a living. And this is the kind of business they do. "Boss, I understand that you should charge me more commission, but I don't have that much money right now." Having said that, Yang Jun took out 2 taels of silver from his pocket and placed them in front of Da Jin Ya. What do you mean, little brother? This money is given to you in my personal name. No matter what, you must keep this necklace of jewels for me. I will come back to redeem it soon. You can charge a commission, but you can't resell the jewelry to others. Is that okay with you?" Big Gold Teeth chuckled. "Is that all?" Yang Jun nodded. "Yes, that's all." Big Gold Teeth patted his chest confidently. "Don't worry about that. You can ask around this street to see what reputation I, Big Gold Teeth, have here. I will definitely keep your treasure well." After hearing this, Yang Jun left with satisfaction. "I have less than 20 taels of silver in my hand, so I have to do something quickly. Although this is a lot of money, I can't just sit there and eat it all. In fact, there are still many people growing crops in the farmland here, but now that summer is over, the temperature is relatively cold and not suitable for growing crops. But how can we survive this winter? After all, there is no surplus food at home." Just as he thought of this, Yang Jun suddenly widened his eyes and clapped his hands hard. Since the people of the Great Jing Dynasty have trouble even getting food, wouldn't they be able to soar to the sky as long as they can solve the most basic problem of food and clothing? Thinking of this, Yang Jun started to walk around the market. If we talk about the crop that matures the fastest and is the easiest to cultivate, it is probably rice. But at this time of year, few people sell rice seedlings. Yang Jun spent at least an hour wandering around the market before he found a shop selling seedlings. But the quantity is very small, only less than 200 plants. After some bargaining by Yang Jun, he bought all the seedlings. Then he went to a ghost shop. The so-called ghost shop is actually similar to the modern coffin shop, selling various coffins as well as paper money or paper figures. Yang Jun touched the material of the paper money and a satisfied smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. "Boss, wrap up all these paper money for me." When Yang Jun said this, the shopkeeper looked at him in confusion, as if he was looking at a lunatic. "What did you say? Several people in your family have died. Why do you need so much paper money?" As soon as the shopkeeper finished speaking, Yang Jun suddenly frowned and looked at him. "If you don't know how to chat, then don't force yourself to chat. Who told you that I want these paper money to burn for the dead?" The shopkeeper was suddenly stunned, and then he laughed awkwardly. Yes, he also realized that he had said the wrong thing. "I'm sorry, brother. I just have so much paper money in my store and you suddenly want all of it. I don't quite understand." Yang Jun threw the coin directly onto the table. "Are you making money?" "Of course I did. Wait a moment, brother. I'll wrap up all the paper money for you." Next, we saw a beautiful landscape. Yang Jun held a bunch of seedlings in his right hand and a bunch of paper money in his left hand, and staggered home. By the time he got home, it was already evening. Yang Jun just pushed open the door, when one looked at what he was holding and frowned slightly. "Who did you buy these paper money for?" Yang Jun chuckled. "I'm of great use. You'll know when the time comes." When one ignored him, but looked at the rice seedlings in his right hand and frowned slightly. "This is. Of course it's rice. We don't have any surplus food at home. I have to grow some food." Yang Jun just said this quite confidently. But suddenly he felt a very unfriendly gaze staring at him. Yang Jun looked up suddenly and saw when Juan's face was cold. "Are you serious? Now is not the season for growing rice. What are you buying these rice seedlings for?" Yang Jun knew that he couldn't explain it clearly now. The most powerful answer is to tell this girl with the results. "Just believe me. Besides, your injuries are almost healed. You should be fully recovered in a few days. Wen Huan did not answer Yang Jun, but turned back to the bed. The next morning, Yang Jun went out before dawn, went straight to Wang Han's house, and started knocking on the door frantically. Wang Han, open the door quickly. After a while, Wang Han rubbed his eyes, slowly opened the door, and looked at Yang Jun with a confused face. You big fool, what happened? Why are you here so early in the morning? Did that loser woman in my family fail to pay off your debt? As soon as Wang Han finished saying this, his eyes suddenly became much angrier. He punched the wooden door next to him, causing it to creak. Damn it! This stinky old woman. It seems that I didn't beat her lightly. Don't be afraid, idiot. I will definitely give you justice. Otherwise, I, Wang Han, will not be able to live in the village anymore. Wang Han had only taken 2 steps when Yang Jun grabbed him. Wang Han. Your wife explained this matter to me yesterday. It has nothing to do with her. Wang Han looked puzzled. Since everything is fine, why are you still looking for me? Chapter 16 Convincing Wang Han. How much surplus food do you have at home? Is it enough to survive the winter? As soon as Yang Jun said this, Wang Han's facial features suddenly twisted and his expression became very embarrassed. This. Yang Jun smiled generously. Don't worry, I'm not here to borrow food from you, you don't have to be so scared. Wang Han then smiled awkwardly. I didn't mean that. It's just that life at home is not easy. I roughly calculated last night and thought it would be difficult to get through the winter. I will have to exchange some of my belongings by then. Having said that, Wang Han sighed. Damn it, these days are getting harder and harder. Yang Jun patted Wang Han on the shoulder. I have a way to make sure you have enough food and clothing this winter. Do you dare to follow my lead? Wang Han was stunned. What can you do? Grow rice. Yang Jun spoke with a serious face. But when Wang Han heard this, he paused, then pointed at his nose and burst into laughter. Har har har. You idiot, did you come here so early in the morning just to tell me jokes? Go back and take a shower and go to bed. What are you sleeping for? I saw you were doing well a few days ago and thought you were getting better, but I didn't expect you to be a fool after all this trouble. Is it the rice planting season now? If we plant them now, they will probably all freeze to death overnight. Yang Jun patted his chest. I have a way to keep the rice alive. It's just a matter of controlling the temperature. I can solve this problem. Wang Han looked at Yang Jun's confident expression and knew that this guy must be serious. Okay, even if what you said is true, don't you know that the maturation period of rice is at least half a year? By then, we would have starved to death. Yang Jun chuckled. He simply stretched out his hand and made a one gesture. What if I could control the maturity cycle to about a month? Wang Han curled his lips. You are such a fool. Okay, I won't talk nonsense with you anymore. Let's go back to sleep. We have to go to work later. Having said that, Wang Han turned and left. As soon as I opened the door, Yang Jun grabbed my arm. In fact, if he had a choice, Yang Jun would not be willing to come to Wang Han. But my physical condition is too weak. Even the most basic processes such as crop planting and fertilization cannot be completed on their own. So I can only come to Wang Han for help. If even Wang Han doesn't agree, then the entire Hatang village really doesn't know who to turn to. After all, he was a recognized fool and had almost no friends in Hatang village. In the past, only Wang Han would occasionally help me and not bully me like others did. I'm telling you, are you done yet? I'm doing manual labor now, can you please stop making things more complicated? Wang Han's tone was already very unhappy. Yang Jun took a deep breath. Wang Han, can you please help me? It only takes 1 month. If I can really succeed in 1 month, I am willing to give you half of my food. Even if it doesn't work, I'm willing to give you 2 taels of silver. As compensation for your 1 month. To be honest, 2 taels of silver is already a lot of money. Even if an ordinary person worked hard, he could not even earn 2 taels of silver a month. Wang Han was completely confused. He knew that Yang Jun had money in his pocket now. I say, you fool, does your wife know that you are doing this? I admit that you have some money, but if you squander it like this, it won't be long before you become a pauper again. I think you should. Before Wang Han could finish his words, the door was pushed open and Shushan suddenly walked out. Husband. You and Yang Jun are friends, but he came to you for help before dawn. How can you refuse such a thing? Wang Han was stunned, then frowned. What do you know as a woman? Go back now. I won't leave. Yang Jun has no other friends in our Hatang village except you. Besides, in all these years, when has he ever asked you to do anything for him? Although I am a woman, if you don't help Yang Jun today, I will look down on you. Wang Han glared at Shushan fiercely. Don't think I don't know what you're thinking? Don't you just want to earn those 2 taels of silver? Get out of here right now. I, Wang Han, am a principled person. I will never earn money against my will. Shushan's eyes rolled and then she burst into tears. Wow, wow, wow. I can't live like this anymore. Wang Han, do you know that we're going to be unable to make ends meet? If you don't make money now, are you waiting for me to starve to death with you this winter? Wang Han said this and prepared to raise his hand. You're allowed to talk nonsense to me again? I'm going to beat you to death, you stinky bitch. Yang Jun hurriedly stopped Wang Han. And Shushan's voice became louder and louder. Murder. Come and see, Wang Han wants to kill me. I can't live like this any longer. Yang Jun hurriedly patted Shushan on the shoulder. You go back first. Just do as we said just now. Let Wang Han help me for a month. Either we split the food equally, or I will compensate him with 2 taels of silver. When Shushan heard this, she stood up, patted her round buttocks, and went back contentedly. Yang Jun, I believe you. Then I will leave this big black man to you. Wang Han pointed at Shushan's receding back. Damn it. Why did I find such a stinky woman? Yang Jun chuckled. Okay, I've already talked to your wife, you help me for a month. Wang Han sighed. Okay, let's go to your house first. It's really cold this morning. The 2 of them returned to Yang Jun's house with their heads down. As soon as I entered the room, I saw Wen Huan sitting on the bed, still with a dull expression. Yang Jun also discovered that this girl liked to relax herself when she had nothing to do. Silly wife, can you please keep this man in your house in check? I wonder if his brain is rusty. He's asking me to plant rice in this season. Wen Huan didn't even look over here, and spoke with an indifferent expression. Let him do what he wants. It has nothing to do with me. This one sentence directly defeated Wang Han. The corners of Wang Han's mouth twitched for a long time, and finally he sighed. He gave a thumbs-up gesture to Yang Jun and Wen Huan. You really are a couple, what a perfect match. I'm convinced. Yang Jun chuckled, and Commander Wang Han picked up the rice seeds and walked towards his own field. There is not even a hair on the ground at this season, it's basically all weeds, so their first priority is to remove the weeds. Of course, this matter fell on Wang Han. This guy was quite reserved at the beginning, but after a while, his body got hot and he just took off his clothes and started working with his dark arms. Originally, Yang Jun's family didn't have much land. Although the people of the Great Jing Dynasty could get land based on the number of people, the amount of land each family had was pitifully small. Coupled with the extremely low crop yields, people could barely make ends meet. Chapter 17, Lord Yarmer keeps you safe. Wang Han did his job right. In just over 2 hours, he cleared all the land in Yang Jun's house. The land was not very big, but it was no problem to plant more than 200 rice seeds. Wang Han wiped the sweat from his forehead. Huh, done. Can we start planting next? Yang Jun stopped him. Don't worry. Yang Jun walked to the ground, squatted down, and reached out to grab a handful of soil underneath. No wonder the crop yields are so low, the land is so barren. To professionals, this kind of land is diseased land. To put it bluntly, the soil is sick and almost all the nutrients have been lost. Wang Han, I need you to do me a favor. Go to your toilet and get me some feces. The more the better. Wang Han was completely stunned. What do you want to do? Just listen to me. Fool, you can't play tricks on me like this. The excrement is so dirty, and you asked me to pick up the excrement for no reason. Aren't you deliberately making fun of me? Yang Jun grinned. I need this feces for a great purpose. You think it's dirty because you don't understand its value and nutrition. Go now. At most I can give you an extra ounce of silver. Wang Han was furious just a second ago. But the next second when he heard these words, he immediately wilted. Okay, let's see what tricks you can come up with. After saying that, Wang Han went home. 10 minutes later, he came over carrying 2 loads of manure. Yang Jun distributed the manure to every location in the field and began to mix the manure and soil together. According to his memories here, the people of Great Jing Dynasty basically did not fertilize the soil, and most of them mixed weeds with the soil. Although weeds contain some nutrients, they simply cannot support high production of crops. This is why food is so scarce. Wang Han was stunned as he watched from the side, pinching his nose the whole time. To put it bluntly, this guy is a bit disgusted. However, Yang Jun didn't feel comfortable asking Wang Han to help with this kind of thing. After all, it was too messy to do. Fortunately, his body was able to recover a little, so doing this simple farm work was not a problem for him. After finishing all this, Yang Jun finally breathed a sigh of relief. Okay, now we can plant the rice seedlings. Wang Han, this task is left to you. Wang Han nodded. Okay, I understand. Wang Han is indeed a professional farmer. He is very adept at this kind of work and he controls the spacing between each rice plant very well. It is said that professional matters should be left to professionals. If he were to do something like this, he probably wouldn't be able to do it. After all the rice seedlings were planted, Wang Han walked up to Yang Jun. I'll do everything for you, idiot. But I have to be frank with you. Your batch of rice seeds won't survive at all. Yang Jun chuckled. How do you know? Can't you open your eyes and see clearly? In this kind of weather, I think you'll all freeze to death overnight and definitely won't survive until tomorrow morning. I know what I'm saying to you is nonsense, you won't understand at all. Having said that, Wang Han sighed and looked sad. I am really crazy. How could I be willing to believe you? Having said that, Wang Han turned around and prepared to leave. But Yang Jun just laughed. I have already planned this. Come with me and I will tell you how to do it. He dragged Wang Hanxing to his home and randomly took out paper money he bought from a funeral home. The moment Wang Han took out the paper money, he was stunned. He took several steps back and looked at Yang Jun as if he was an idiot. Damn it! Are you crazy? You're not going to live tomorrow, why are you buying so much paper money? Yang Jun sighed. Who told you I want to burn paper money? These things are great treasures. They will be very useful to me if I keep them. Although Yang Jun was trying hard to explain, it was obvious that Wang Han didn't believe it at all. Wen Wan had been watching everything clearly, but the girl didn't say a word from beginning to end. In fact, for Wen Wan, whether Yang Jun can cultivate successfully or not has little to do with him. Moreover, Wen Wan always had a very strange feeling when facing Yang Jun. Although everyone in the village called him a fool. But Wen Wan felt that Yang Jun had a temperament that ordinary people did not have. And everything he does, every operation he makes is eye-catching. So this time Wen Wan decided to trust him again. Even if Yang Jun really failed, it would not matter to Wen Wan. Once he gained power in the future, wouldn't this money be a drop in the bucket? Since he wants to make trouble, let him do it. As long as this man doesn't cross the line with me. But Wang Han didn't believe it at all. Come on, this thing looks so unlucky. Throw it away quickly. Be careful or it will curse someone in your family to death. If you don't throw it away, I'll do it for you. You're such a lunatic, who would bring this thing home? Wang Han didn't hesitate at all. He simply picked up the pile of paper money and threw it out the door. Yang Jun hurriedly stopped him. Hey, big brother. Please don't do anything rash. The survival of our rice depends entirely on these paper money. Wang Han was quite angry at first. But when he heard what Yang Jun said, he didn't get angry but laughed instead. She threw all the paper money on the ground, then clasped her arms across her chest and stared at him with a smile. From what you said, it seems that you are going to burn paper money as an offering to the King of Hell, hoping to pray for peace. You spent so much money on rice. I think you should go see a doctor and have your stupid brain fixed. It's better than wasting money, right? Then Wang Han spread his hands. Besides, even if you offer your sacrifice, you have found the wrong person. The King of Hell is in charge of life and death, not these things. Listening to Wang Han talking more and more nonsense, Yang Jun quickly waved his hands. Go to hell. What's that got to do with anything? It has nothing to do with any of this. Just follow me. Then Yang Jun took a pile of paper money and brought Wang Han directly to the field. He first ordered Wang Han to dig a big pit, and then poured all the paper money into the pit. What are you going to do next? Wang Han looked at Yang Jun as if he was an idiot. However, Yang Jun did not blame him. After all, his actions were indeed quite crazy. Then he took out a match and lit the paper money. This kind of paper money is flammable, so it will burn again immediately with just a spark. The entire pit was filled with dancing flames. Wang Han became more and more confused and touched his head. Originally I thought you were going to burn it to the king of hell and let it gush out on the water, but after all this fuss, it turns out you're just wasting your money. Chapter 18 The Big Secret. You should at least burn it to the king of hell. Maybe if the old man is happy, he can really bless you. You really have a lot of money to burn now. I won't make any comments. And I advise you to stay away from me, lest my IQ drops like yours. This guy is like a chatterbox, constantly nagging and complaining. Yang Jun was also very annoyed by this. Okay, stop talking and come over here to help. After the flames were completely extinguished, the paper money in the fire pit turned into black and grey. Yang Jun took a deep breath. He needed to test it. Yang Jun jumped into the fire pit and collected all the ashes from the burnt paper money. I tried adding some water into it, and surprisingly it actually stuck together. Yang Jun nodded with satisfaction, then kneaded water and fine soil together, and spread it out like rolling out flour. After a while, a large piece of dough was rolled out. Moreover, he rolled it very thinly, and he didn't even dare to move it, otherwise it would easily get holes in it. Yang Jun picked up some dry firewood and slowly burned the large piece of soil dry. After all this was done, the sky gradually darkened. Wang Han touched his chin. What on earth are these things you made? A strange smile appeared on Yang Jun's lips. Insulation. What is insulation? Just spread these things on the ground to maintain the temperature for rice growth. This way, it can provide a perfect growth space for rice. In short, you just have to believe me. Wang Han looked like he didn't understand. Yang Jun was too lazy to explain to him and spread all the fired mud layers on top of the rice. After finishing all this, he left with satisfaction. In fact, these paper money were not just made of straw paper, because straw paper was very expensive in that era. Some lime from the stone walls is usually added to the mix, as well as a lot of straw. What Yang Jun wanted was this lime powder, because rice needs hydroponics, and lime can release heat when it comes into contact with water. Although the amount is pitifully small, if it can dissipate heat and cover the rice at the same time, it can be made into a simple heat-insulating greenhouse. Moreover, when photosynthesis occurs during the day, this thing can collect the warmth of the sunlight, and it is not easy to dissipate even at night. Although this was also Yang Jun's first time doing something like this. And there is no 100% certainty of success. But if you don't try it, it's totally not your style. What's more, life in this era is too simple, and he doesn't want to spend his life in mediocrity. Every day I even have to worry about whether I have enough food and warm clothes. So this is the only way for you. Of course, Wang Han was still skeptical about this kind of thing. First of all, he had never seen such a bold move before. Secondly, in his heart, Yang Jun is just a waste. After all, Yang Jun has been living as a fool for so many years. Now he suddenly does so many weird things. I'm afraid any normal person would not believe his nonsense. If it weren't for his wife and the 3 tails of silver, Wang Han would have stopped playing with Yang Jun long ago. Yang Jun told Wang Han to report to his house early the next morning. Just got home and Yang Jun prepared to make something simple. But the moment I opened the door, I smelled food. He looked closely and found that Wen Huan was actually cooking something to eat. Although it was just wild vegetables and sweet potatoes cooked in one pot, at this moment Yang Jun standing at the door felt mixed emotions. Although they are fake couple, at this moment Yang Jun feels like he has been home for a long time. After all, I was a single guy before and had never experienced this kind of worldly life. My dear, are you feeling better? I am so lucky as your husband. I can taste your loving dinner as soon as I enter the house. Come and give me a loving hug. As soon as he finished speaking, Yang Jun opened his arms and moved towards Wen Huan. Yang Jun thought he could get a wonderful hug from Wen Huan, but facts told him that he was thinking too much. Wen Huan just turned his head and glared at him. Just one sharp look was enough to make him back off. You've crossed the line. Yang Jun quickly took several steps back and touched his head awkwardly. Forehead. Wen Huan was not polite at all and stared at Yang Jun. Don't forget, this is a fake marriage between you and me. If you dare to take advantage of me, I promise you will die miserably. Yang Jun hurriedly bowed with both hands. After all, this woman is a lunatic, as can be seen from the last incident with Hu Goshen. If I hadn't helped Hu Goshen at the critical moment, that guy would probably have lost his life. Naturally, Yang Jun didn't dare to pretend in front of Wen Huan. Okay. Because of this embarrassing scene, the rest of the meal seemed a bit tasteless. A silent night. The next morning, before Yang Jun woke up, he heard someone knocking on the door. Yang Jun rubbed his sleepy eyes and opened the door. Who is it? Wang Han looked him up and down as if he had discovered some new world. He grabbed Yang Jun and pulled him aside. What are you doing? Hey, why do you sleep with clothes on? Don't tell me you guys always sleep plain. Yang Jun looked puzzled. What are you talking about? You're talking so weirdly this morning. What do you want to say? Wang Han deliberately lowered his voice. Silly boy, tell me the truth, have you and your wife ever had sex in such a long time? Which one? The more Yang Jun listened, the more confused he became. Wang Han stretched out his two thumbs and pointed them together. It's that, sexual intercourse. Yang Jun paused. He didn't know why, but as soon as Wang Han finished speaking, he felt a lump in his nose and an indescribable feeling. Yes. To the outside world, he at least married a wife, but what kind of a monk's life is he living day by day? When I think of this, I shed tears of sadness. Perhaps because Yang Jun didn't say a word, Wang Han burst into laughter, as if he had discovered something incredible. I say, idiot, you don't know how to have sex with a woman, do you? I'll teach you. After all, your wife is so beautiful, you must not waste this good time. Yang Jun is a real man after all, so he naturally wants to save face, so he quickly coughed. What are you talking about? Who doesn't know how to have sex? She's my wife. I hug her to sleep every night. How could I not do anything? Stop worrying about it. As soon as Yang Jun finished speaking, Wen Huan poked his head out and stared at him with cold eyes. At this moment, Yang Jun felt as if he was not wearing any clothes in front of Wen Huan. I was completely seen by someone and I didn't know what to do for a moment. What are you talking about? Oh, no. Nothing, you must have heard it wrong. Chapter 19 Water Purification. Wen Huan glared at Yang Jun fiercely. Although he didn't say anything, his expression told it all. Yang Jun looked flustered and patted Wang Han's shoulder with a smile. Okay, we still have a lot of work to do today. This batch of rice must be grown hydroponically. Where do we usually get water here? From that river down there. Yang Jun touched his chin and then shook his head. That river is no good. The water quality is too bad. I can smell a foul odor when I pass by there. If this kind of water is used to irrigate rice, it will definitely affect the yield. Wang Han looked puzzled. So what do you mean? Are you planning to use the water we drink for irrigation? How much water would that take? We also pay for our water. Yang Jun waved his hand. If this is the case, then we will lose a lot. We need to find a way to improve the water quality. As soon as Yang Jun said this, Wang Han and Wen Huan both turned their heads to look at him. Although Wen Huan's expression did not change in particular, it was obvious that this girl had been paying attention to Yang Jun. Wang Han touched his head. Improve the water quality. The water is already so dirty, and for many years, our village has been using water from that river to irrigate the land. Besides, can something like water be improved? Even though I am not well educated, you can't lie to me. Yang Jun smiled and waved his hand. Go to the river and fetch 2 loads of water. Leave the rest to me. Today I will show you something magical. Although Wang Han didn't believe what Yang Jun said, he still went to fetch water obediently. After all, strictly speaking, it is Wang Han who is now employed by Yang Jun. After Wang Han left, Yang Jun went to the back mountain and brought back a basket of sand. Of course, these mines are now a mixture of sand and soil. Yang Jun began to pour water into the basket and started to wash the sand. It took 5 or 6 washes to finally clean the dirt from the sand. The fine sand in the entire basket also looked a lot cleaner. It just so happened that Wang Han came back with 2 loads of water at this time. Don't you have anything to do? Brother, what's the point of washing all this sand? A strange smile appeared on Yang Jun's lips. Of course it's to filter the water. Just watch carefully. Your work won't be in vain. After saying this, Yang Jun took a jar and knocked a tiny hole in the bottom of the jar. Then he cut off a small piece of cloth from his clothes. Tuck one end of the fabric strip into the bottom of the jar and place the other end over the edge of the bucket. Pour all the sand into the jar, and a simple filtering device is ready. Okay, Wang Han, you can start pouring water into the sand, but try to pour as little as possible at a time. Wang Han was confused. You really expect this crap to improve the water quality? You are such a fool. Yang Jun just smiled and said nothing. After all, he is the only one who knows how useful this thing is. Wang Han first poured some of the dirty water into the sand. There were indeed a lot of impurities in the water. Even the color has turned a little black. If this kind of water is used to irrigate the land, it would be great if the rice can survive. It is definitely strong, not to mention increasing the yield. After the black water was put into the sand, it began to sink slowly. And because the density of the sand was relatively fine, the water fell very slowly. When all the water falls to the bottom of the jar, it slowly drips down along the cloth strips from the small holes. Wang Han, just stay here. If the water dries up, add some more. Come back to me after you have filtered all the water. I'll go in and take a nap first. Wang Han nodded. Okay, I understand. Yang Jun went straight in and fell asleep. After all, his current weak body makes him out of breath after doing a little work. And your body should not only change from diet, but also get enough sleep. Only by taking both approaches can you achieve better results. But he had not fallen asleep for long when he heard Wang Han's excited voice outside. Holy crap! This is actually true. Yang Jun didn't hear it at all and simply blocked out Wang Han's voice. After sleeping for 2 hours, Yang Jun finally got up and stretched. He had a very comfortable sleep and felt numb all over. As soon as he opened the door, he saw Wang Han standing at the door with a smile on his face. Fool! Sometimes I really have to admire you. I didn't expect your method to work. Look at this water, it's crystal clear, even cleaner than the water we drink. Yang Jun looked at the bucket and found that the water inside had indeed become clear. Look at the sand that was just used for filtering. There are all kinds of debris floating on it. There is soil and leaf debris, and if you look carefully, you can even see some unidentified small plankton jumping around on it. This kind of water definitely does not meet the drinking standards because it only filters out some larger impurities. As for the tiny bacteria in it, it is definitely not possible to make it completely clean. But this kind of water is just right for watering the fields. However, Yang Jun did not notice that when Huan, who was basking in the sun nearby, looked over here from time to time. He asked Wang Han to fetch water and go to the fields. As soon as they went out, they saw Wen Huan talking to himself. There are so many ways. Yang Jun and Wang Han went to the fields, and after tinkering with them for a while, they finally completed all the preliminary preparations. All you need to do next is add water regularly. Anyway, his insulation layer has been completed, and the quality of the soil has been improved and enhanced, and most importantly, the water source has become clean. We strictly control all the major factors to increase production. In this way, it is estimated that this batch of rice will mature within a month. Wang Han, you've worked hard these past 2 days. Don't worry, I will make sure you have a worry-free winter. Wang Han grinned. These are not problems. I am not helping you for the sake of benefits. That is what my wife wants. Yang Jun naturally understood this. As the saying goes, there is no gain without pain. If you give others enough benefits, there is nothing wrong with them coming to help you. 2 people were chatting happily in the field when suddenly a familiar figure ran over from a distance, accompanied by a loud shout. Wang Han! Idiot! Where are you two? Wang Han was stunned and subconsciously stood up and turned his head, only to see Shushan running towards him quickly. Shushan's figure is quite good, especially the 2 heavy lumps on her chest, which shake when she runs. Wang Han waved to Shushan. Wife, we are here. What happened? Look how worried we are about you. The sky won't fall yet. Even if it does fall, your husband will hold it up. Chapter 20, Hijacking. Wang Han originally wanted to have a chat with Shushan. But who would have thought that Shushan's expression was extremely anxious? Yang Jun frowned. He felt at a glance that Shushan must have something very important to tell him. Yang Jun quickly grabbed Wang Han. Shushan, what happened? You can talk slowly, don't be anxious. It was obvious that Shushan had just run over here. At this moment, he looked out of breath. After stopping, he kept breathing heavily and couldn't utter a word for a long time. This made Yang Jun very anxious. What's going on? You're really making me anxious. Shushan felt a little better and pointed in the direction of Yang Jun's house. You should go back quickly. Something happened at your home. Yang Jun's heart skipped a beat. At this moment, he had no time to ask Shushan what had happened at home. At this moment, his head was directly filled with Wenhuan. Although even Yang Jun himself didn't know why he had this feeling, he and Wenhuan were just a fake couple. But even if it was fake, after spending these few days together, Yang Jun also had a special feeling for Wenhuan. Maybe even he didn't notice it. But when I heard that something happened at home, my first reaction was Wenhuan. Of course, it's no wonder that Yang Jun thought so. After all, apart from Wenhuan, there seemed to be nothing else in the whole house worth his nostalgia. Yang Junfei ran towards home. Wang Han and Shushan followed behind. Yang Jun ran extremely fast, and it can be said that he used up all his strength. This was the most strenuous run he had ever run in his life. It usually takes me at least half an hour to walk this distance, but today I arrived home in just a few minutes. Yang Jun leaned on his knees with his hands, breathing heavily. The door was ajar, and there was a very clear large footprint on the dilapidated wooden door. Yang Jun's face changed. Then, his hands trembled and he slowly pushed the door open. After entering the house, Wenhuan was gone, and the house was in a mess, with overturned jars and cans everywhere. Madam! Where are you? Yang Jun yelled a few times, but no one answered. Now Yang Jun really understood that something must have happened to Wenhuan. Just as he was about to go out, he saw Wang Han and Shushan running towards him. Fool! How is it? Yang Jun shook his head. He turned his head to look at Shushan with a serious expression on his face. Tell me. What is going on? Where is my wife? Shushan was breathing heavily. I just wanted to come to your house to see if there was anything I could help with, but when I got to the door I saw a group of soldiers rushing into your house. Yang Juntong's eyes widened. What did you say? Officers and soldiers. He was just an ordinary citizen. Normally, he would not provoke soldiers or officers, and he didn't even have the chance to interact with them. How could I possibly offend someone? They entered the house and started smashing things. The noise was so loud that I could hear it clearly at the door. After a while, they brought your wife out. Yang Jun was really anxious now. If we really offend the officers and soldiers, it will be a big deal. After all, the people do not fight against the officials, and the methods used in this era are too simple and crude. If you disagree with something, you will not only go to jail, but behead. Thinking of this, Yang Jun grabbed Shushan's shoulders tightly. Shushan screamed in pain. Tell me. What else did they say? No. Your wife didn't resist and just followed him. Shushan thought about it for a while, and suddenly her eyes lit up. Oh, right. I saw Doctor Hu in there too. Hu Goshen. Yang Jun clenched his fists. He finally understood who was responsible. Thinking of this, Yang Jun hurriedly prepared to chase them along the main road. If Hu Goshen was calling the county government office, then he only needed to follow the main road and he would definitely be able to catch up with them. But just when Yang Jun took 2 steps, Wang Han suddenly opened his arms and stopped him. What are you doing? What else can I do? Go save my wife, of course. Wang Han was completely stunned. Brother! Are you crazy? They can be soldiers. Do you know what it means that the people should not fight against the officials? Shushan also echoed. That's right. At worst, the government will give you another woman next year, and I'll just pick one for you. You don't have to worry about not being able to find a wife. Wang Han nodded. If you go, you may lose your life. I don't agree with you going. Yang Jun shook his head. Wang Han, I'm not discussing with you. If I really can't come back, you must continue to cultivate rice. When I was cultivating rice, you were always watching by my side. As long as you follow my steps strictly, I promise that you will have no worries about food and clothing for the rest of your life. As soon as he finished speaking, Yang Jun pushed Wang Han aside and rushed out at an extremely fast speed. He is really worried about Wen Huan. After running for more than half an hour, I finally saw a group of people in military uniforms in front of me. Finally found it. Yang Jun gritted his teeth, rushed to the door, opened his arms and shouted. Everyone stop. All officers and soldiers stopped and raised their weapons. In this era, Yang Jun is the first person who dares to stop the officers and soldiers directly. After all, stopping the soldiers means violating the laws of the Great Jing Dynasty, and it is a very serious law. It is not an exaggeration to describe it as a crime that deserves death. Wang Han and Shushan originally wanted to stop Yang Jun, but when they arrived here, they saw Yang Jun stopping a group of soldiers. Wang Han was completely confused. Damn it! Is this idiot crazy? How dare he go and stop the soldiers? It's really over now. Even the Lord can't save her. Shushan grabbed Wang Han's shoulders. Let's go quickly. He doesn't want to die, so he can't let us get hurt. Shushan forcibly dragged Wang Han away. On Yang Jun's side, a group of officers and soldiers pointed their weapons at him, and their eyes were extremely serious, as if they were facing a powerful enemy. Who is coming? Wen Huan was among the crowd. At first, Wen Huan didn't pay attention to this side until Yang Jun spoke. Who told you to take my wife away? What crime did she commit? Let her go. Wen Huan paused, raised his head suddenly, and stared at Yang Jun with wide eyes as if he were a madman. Who asked you to come? Go now. Although Wen Huan pretended to be calm, it was obvious that she was still very worried about Yang Jun. Yang Jun snorted coldly. Why are you leaving? They arrested you without any reason. Do you want me to be a coward? I won't agree to that. Wen Huan gritted his teeth. You and I are just a fake couple. You don't have to care about me. Besides, I won't thank you. Go away. Don't bother me. Yang Jun was just about to speak, but at this moment, a contentious voice sounded from the side. Humph. Now that you're here, don't leave. Chapter 21, It's really professional. Yang Jun turned his head and looked. Only then did Hu Goshen come out with a smile on his face, clapping his hands as he walked. Everyone says you are a fool. I didn't believe it before, but now I do. Having said that, Hu Goshen gave Yang Jun a thumbs-up gesture. You are really tired of living. How dare you stop the troops? Just based on what you did today, I will not ask for your life. Yang Jun frowned. Hu Goshen, you are doctor, but you don't have the heart of a doctor. You broke into my house and almost insulted my wife before, and now you dare to accuse me first. What right do you have to arrest people? Hu Goshen got angry when he heard this. The guy pointed to his blind eye. At this time, this eye was still wrapped tightly. Why? Open your dog eyes wide and let me see clearly. This bitch blinded one of my eyes. If I don't take revenge, I'm not a gentleman. Yang Jun snorted coldly. How dare you call yourself a gentleman? Why did my wife blind your eyes? Yang Jun was also very angry. After all, if I hadn't been so chaste at the time, this guy wouldn't have been able to leave my house at all. He pointed at Hu Goshen's nose. Hu Goshen. I really shouldn't have saved your life. People like you are a waste of air when alive and a waste of land when dead. Having said that, Yang Jun spat to the side. Although the harm is not great, it is extremely insulting. Hu Goshen was speechless for a moment. After all, he had done something shameful before. But this guy changed his mind and thought, he had brought so many officers and soldiers with him, so what was there to be afraid of? Hu Goshen snorted coldly. You are nothing but a reckless man who is good at talking. You two are both bad people. If you hadn't shown up today, I would have spared your life. But now that you are here, don't even think about leaving alive. After saying this, Hu Goshen waved his hand. Catch this idiot. 2 or 3 soldiers rushed directly towards Yang Jun. Yang Jun knew that he was no match for them. After all, 2 fists cannot beat 4 hands, and he was very familiar with the old saying that the people should not fight against the officials. What's more, with my weak body, to be honest, it is still unknown whether I can withstand a punch from someone. Don't let yourself get torn apart by one punch. So Yang Jun did not resist from beginning to end. Hu Goshen watched the soldiers arrest Yang Jun. He walked up to Yang Jun with a smirk on his face and patted Yang Jun's face insultingly. Fool, I'm going to let you know the consequences of going against me. You will definitely regret it very much. Immediately afterwards, Hu Goxing raised the volume of his voice. Let's go. Yang Jun and Wen Huan were escorted away together by officers and soldiers. Wen Huan glanced at him and looked at him as if he were a lunatic. So you're here to die. Hearing Wen Huan's cold voice, Yang Jun touched the tip of his nose awkwardly. My dear, I risked my life to save you. I thought you would be deeply moved, but I didn't expect you to not appreciate it. Having said that, Yang Jun pretended to cover his chest. I am so heartbroken. Wen Huan frowned. You kept saying you were here to save me, but you ended up getting yourself into trouble. Not only am I not moved, I also think you did something extremely stupid. There is nothing wrong with what Wen Huan said. Do you like to die? Wen Huan really didn't give Yang Jun any face at all and scolded him harshly. Yang Jun sighed helplessly. My dear, even though you and I are fake husband and wife, I can't just ignore you. It's said that a husband and wife are bound by love for 100 days. As your husband and a man, I have to be at the forefront at the critical moment. Although Yang Jun said this, he was not completely sure that he could avert the danger. Now we can only take one step at a time. About an hour later, Yang Jun and Wen Huan were taken to the government office. And the two people went directly to the backyard from the side. After taking only 2 steps, Wen Huan suddenly stopped, then frowned and looked at the soldiers behind him. What are you looking at? Hurry up and leave. Don't you know where you are? If you don't behave here, don't blame us for punishing you. Wen Huan spoke with a cold expression. Do you still have the great scenery lore in your eyes? This one sentence completely confused the officers and soldiers behind him. He stared at Wen Huan with wide eyes and a puzzled look on his face. What do you mean by that? According to the laws of the Great Jing Dynasty, if you want to arrest someone, you must first hold a public trial in front of the court. Only after the responsibility is determined can the case be brought to the backyard. Since you are all working in the government office, you should know the procedures and rules. Who taught you to break the law knowingly? When Wen Huan said this, the expression on his face was very confident. It felt like she wasn't a criminal at all, as if she was the judge. The officers and soldiers on the opposite side were also confused. She didn't know what to do for a moment, perhaps because she didn't expect that a woman like Wen Huan would be so familiar with the laws of Beijing. Who are you? Does this have anything to do with you? I want a fair process now. If you can't give it to me, I will definitely report it to the higher-ups. Then I will make sure you all pay the price. Several officers and soldiers looked at each other, unable to say a word for a moment. At this moment, Hu Goxing burst into laughter. Really? You don't really think you can leave after entering here? Having said that, Hu Goxing pointed to his blind eye. I'm going to make it clear to you today. The county magistrate and I have a close relationship. I arrested you this time for one purpose, and that is to avenge my blindness. You don't even have a chance to leave here, so how can you continue to file a complaint? Then Hu Goxing waved his hand. Lock them both up. One of the officers couldn't help but ask. Dr. Hu, I think this woman is not a simple person. Could she really cause trouble for the county magistrate? Dr. Hu frowned. What do you mean? You are a grown man, but you are frightened by such a woman. You are too shameful. The officers and soldiers smiled awkwardly. This matter is of great importance. I think we should inform the magistrate first. Dr. Hu nodded. No problem. Take the person to the small dark room first, and I will report to the county magistrate. The officers and soldiers nodded repeatedly. After all, this was the best solution. Just as they were about to leave, Dr. Hu pointed at Wen Huan and Yang Jun's noses. Once you enter here, you will enter hell. I will make sure you remember this day forever. Immediately afterwards, Dr. Hu went to call for help. Yang Jun and Wen Huan were thrown into a small dark room. Madam, I remember asking you before, but you never told me, who are you? Chapter 22. Both were arrested. Before, I just thought you were not simple, but today you taught me a lesson. You are familiar with the laws of Beijing. This is not something that an ordinary girl should do. Having said that, Yang Jun moved forward. Why don't you tell me? It's still unknown whether we can get out of here. Wen Huan gave him a cold glance. It's none of your business. Yang Jun got a cold shoulder for his efforts, and although he felt a little unhappy, after all, it was his own fault, so he couldn't blame Wen Huan. Yang Jun and Wen Huan stayed in the small dark room for about a quarter of an hour before the door was pushed open. The first one to come in was Hu Goshen. This guy crossed his arms over his chest, looking so arrogant. Are you ready to be judged? Immediately behind Hu Goshen followed a middle-aged man, who should be the county magistrate, dressed in official attire. This dress gives a feeling of majesty and oppression. Although the material is still so rubbish, when it is worn on the body, it represents the laws of the Great Jing Dynasty. However, when Yang Jun first saw the magistrate, he had a very intuitive feeling that this person was very weak. Especially the two dark circles under his eyes, which looked like they were about to burst at any time. There were several officers and soldiers following behind the county magistrate. Mr. Magistrate, it's this couple. Hu Goshen seemed very angry. He pointed at Yang Jun and Wen Huan and started cursing at them. Yang Jun was definitely a harsh person with his words, so after Hu Goshen said this, he didn't give him any face at all. Hey, a vicious dog that bites everyone it catches actually has the nerve to call others bastards. Bar. Just for the beastly things you did in my house, I deserve to shoot you 10 times. What does it mean to be shot? Wang Jingqiang suddenly said this. Forehead. Yang Jun was stuck and was stunned for a long time before he uttered a sentence weakly. Sir, this isn't the point, is it? He broke into my house and almost raped my wife. If I hadn't come back in time, it would have been too late. Are they going to arrest us for this as well? You can't allow the governor to set fires but not allow the people to light lamps, right? Yang Jun's mouth was like a machine gun, talking non-stop. Wang Jingqiang frowned. This was somewhat different from what he had initially learned. Mr. Magistrate. Please believe me. It was this couple who hurt me and even damaged one of my eyes. I have worked like a slave for you for so many years, you can't let them bully me like this. Hu Goshen was like a shrew, constantly nagging in Wang Jingqiang's ear. Wang Jingqiang nodded. Well, although I don't know exactly what happened, you two hurt someone after all, and you are famous doctors in our area. You are more or less responsible for this matter. Yang Jun was completely stunned. Mr. Magistrate. Are you kidding me? He broke into my house first. He wanted to rape my wife. Can't I resist? As soon as Yang Jun finished saying this, Hu Goshen snorted coldly. Humph. You fool, you are really good at confusing right and wrong. I went to your house to treat your wife's illness, but I didn't expect that you crazy people almost took my life. I am a well-known doctor in the area. How could I do such a disgusting thing? It is really disrespectful to society. Having said that, Hu Goshen turned his head to look at the magistrate and clasped his hands together. Mr. Magistrate. Please help me. Wang Jingqiang thought about it. I need to investigate this matter thoroughly before we discuss the next step. If you are really making it up, don't blame me for making you pay the price. As soon as he finished speaking and was about to leave, Wang Jingqiang was stopped by Hu Goshen. Goshen, don't worry. After all these years, this county magistrate has believed in you and knows that you would never do such a disgusting thing. When Wang Jingqiang said this, Hu Goshen's expression was very unnatural. Oh, yes. Mr. Magistrate, you can't let them go. Wang Jingqiang smiled confidently. Don't worry. I've brought the person back. Are you still afraid that I won't help you? I just lack some evidence. As long as the evidence is solid, I will avenge your blindness. Originally Hu Goshen wanted to insist a little longer, but seeing that Wang Jingqiang didn't seem to have any intention of continuing this topic. Now he couldn't continue to try to please someone so coldly. I could only smile awkwardly. Master Wang, please don't be anxious. You should have sensed it just now, right? That man has a lot of tricks up his sleeve. He is not a good person. In my opinion, they should be imprisoned separately. Only in this way will they not have the opportunity to collude in advance. Wang Jingqiang nodded thoughtfully. You have a point. Then the magistrate should take that woman away. This place is very dark. Someone, please take that woman away. Now Hu Goshen was really anxious and quickly grabbed Wang Jingqiang's arm. Don't be anxious. Lord Wang, I think it's better to leave that woman here. I want to scare her. Then she will confess everything, right? Having said that, Hu Goshen patted his chest. Don't worry, magistrate. I will take good care of her. I will tell you as soon as I get any news. Wang Jingqiang didn't think much about it. He waved his hand and spoke to the officers and soldiers next to him. Pull the man out, and leave the woman here. The officers opened the cell door and pointed at Yang Jun. You, come with us. Yang Jun pointed at himself. Just me. Just follow me when I tell you to go. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Are you looking for a beating? Yang Jun shook his head. No. I want to go with my wife. Otherwise I won't leave. Several officers and soldiers rolled up their sleeves and walked over, and in no time they lifted Yang Jun up. Hey! What are you doing? Let me go. Behave yourself. Don't you see where you are? If you dare to resist, I'll break your arms and legs. Just then, when one behind him spoke coldly. I'm fine. You can go with them. Once we find out the whole story, we can get out. Yang Jun was extremely unwilling in his heart, but he could do nothing about it. Besides, this was the county magistrate's office. If he used force, he would probably never be able to leave here in his lifetime. In the end, Yang Jun was taken away by several soldiers. As soon as he reached the door, he saw Wang Jingqiang and Hu Goshen. Hey! Let me go. Wang Jingqiang waved his hand. Why are you talking so much nonsense? I've already said it. As long as the truth is clear and it has nothing to do with you, I will let you go. Take him away. Several soldiers escorted Yang Jun forward, and suddenly Hu Goshen came over, patted Yang Jun's shoulder gently, put his mouth close to Yang Jun's ear, and spoke softly. Kid. I told you, you can't beat me. Later it will be just me and that girl here, it's exciting just thinking about it. Chapter 23, Hu Goshen's Good Opportunity. After hearing what Hu Goshen said, Yang Jun's eyes suddenly widened. You, what did you say? Hu Goshen patted Yang Jun's shoulder again. At this moment, his eyes were full of contempt. Boy, this is what happens when you mess with me. You're just a bunch of low-level trash, nothing like me. Har 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 har. Since this guy kept his voice down, Yang Jun could hear it clearly, but Wang Jingqiang on the other side could not hear it at all. You beast! If you dare to touch my wife, I will not let you go even if I become a ghost. Now Yang Jun was really anxious. From the time he came in until now, it seems that although Wang Jingqiang is also biased towards Hu Goshen, he at least behaves like a county magistrate should. As for Hu Goshen, there is no need to say anything, this guy is a beast. Yang Jun had already understood it very well before at home. What can't a man like him do? Yang Jun shouted louder and louder, but the other two soldiers pulled him out forcibly. Hu Goshen sat next to Wang Jingqiang, and Wang Jingqiang touched his head. What's wrong with that kid? Why is he going crazy for no reason? Hu Goshen chuckled. Mr. Magistrate, don't worry about him. You may not know this, but he is a well-known fool in Hatang village. As he said this, Hu Goshen pointed to his head. I heard there has been a problem here since childhood. Wang Jingqiang nodded thoughtfully. So that's how it is. No wonder I can become a family with this crazy woman. It really proves the old saying that if you are not from the same family, you will not enter the same door. As he said this, Wang Jingqiang patted Hu Goshen on the shoulder. Since you volunteered, then you can stay here. If you don't want to stay later, find someone to replace you. There are guards outside. Hu Goshen chuckled. I understand, Your Excellency the Magistrate. On the other side, Yang Jun was still struggling at first, but these two soldiers were extremely strong and it was obvious that they had trained well, so he was no match for them at all. What's more, with his weak body, he would sweat profusely if he moved the slightest bit, and he felt like he was going to collapse at any time, let alone go against others. He had no qualifications at all. But at this moment, Yang Jun was extremely anxious because he was really worried about Wen Huan's safety. After all, the guards had left the small dark room, and now only Hu Goshen and Wen Huan were left there. If Hu Goshen really did something to her, wouldn't it be easy to catch her? Wen Huan had no room to resist at all. As expected. On the other side, after Wang Jingqiang and the other guards left, Hu Goshen stood at the door of the small dark room with a smile on his face. With his arms folded over his chest, he stared at Wen Huan with disdain. TSK TSK TSK, you bitch, take a good look at the scars you left on me. Having said that, Hu Goshen pointed to his blind eye. The reason my eyes are like this is all because of you. What do you think we should do about this? Wen Huan raised his head and stared at Hu Goshen. Wen Huan's eyes were very indifferent at this time, which made Hu Goxing feel unprecedented disgust. Yes. Because when Hu Goxing looked at Wen Huan's eyes at this moment, he felt that Wen Huan looked down on him. This is exactly the case. Wen Huan looked down on Hu Goxing from the bottom of his heart. What do you mean? After a long while, Wen Huan finally said this coldly. Hu Goxing panted and nodded viciously. Okay. You bitch. You look down on me from the bottom of your heart, don't you? Wen Huan nodded. Hu Goxing, I look down on you, because from beginning to end, everything you did was not like a man at all. Wen Huan stood up slowly. His health had not recovered well in recent days because of Yang Jun's care. What is Wen Huan's identity? If she was frightened by a Hu Goxing, then she is not the queen of Beijing. Wen Huan pointed at Hu Goxing's nose and began to speak word by word. Hu Goxing. Listen to me carefully. A shameless person like you is not worthy of being a citizen of Beijing. You are not a man at all because you only care about the weak. Hu Goxing felt as if he had been electrocuted. He stood opposite Wen Huan and couldn't say a word for a while. After a long silence, Hu Goxing finally breathed heavily. You bitch. As soon as he finished speaking, Hu Goxing pointed at Wen Huan. You, a bitch, dare to threaten me. Fine. Since you don't want to drink my toast, don't blame me for being rude to you. Today I'll let you see if I'm a man or not. As soon as he finished speaking, Hu Goxing began to approach Wen Huan. Hu Goxing, let me tell you, if you dare to touch me today, I guarantee you will regret it for the rest of your life. Hu Goxing didn't hesitate at all. He raised his hand and slapped Wen Huan hard on the side of the face. There was a loud snap. Wen Huan turned to one side, covering his cheek, and 5 clear finger marks suddenly appeared on his fair cheek. Bitch! I'm going to kill you right here today. Let's see what you can do to me. Hu Goxing's eyes were red at this moment, and he looked like a mad beast. Wen Huan's heart skipped a beat. This girl was a smart person, she knew that today was probably not a good day. Har har har. Bitch, I'm going to enjoy you right now. As soon as he finished speaking, Hu Goxing pounced on him. On the other side, Yang Jun had been taken away by 2 soldiers. Behave yourself. You've come to the county magistrate's office. Everything you do could get you into trouble. If you don't want to spend the rest of your life in jail, just be obedient. But Yang Jun was in no mood to care about what this person said. He just let it go in one ear and out the other. At this moment, Yang Jun was only thinking about Wen Huan's safety. What should I do if this girl is really raped by Hu Goxing? Finally, Yang Jun turned around suddenly and saw Wang Jingqiang. Wang Jingqiang had just come out of the small dark room. Yang Jun yelled like crazy. Your Excellency the Magistrate! Your Excellency the Magistrate! Wang Jingqiang just glanced at him but had no intention of paying any attention to him. He waved to the 2 officers and soldiers escorting Yang Jun. Why don't you just put this guy in jail and wait for his punishment? Really, can't you just leave me alone and have some peace and quiet? The 2 officers echoed and prepared to drag Yang Jun into the prison nearby. Yang Jun knew very well that if Wen Huan was really taken in, he would be in real danger. Mr. Magistrate! You can't put me in jail. Otherwise, you will never regain your glory in this life. Wang Jingqiang was about to go into their house, but suddenly he paused, turned his head and stared at Yang Jun with wide eyes. How dare you talk nonsense? Come with us. 2 soldiers took Yang Jun by force and were about to send him to jail. Etc. Chapter 24, Animal Nature. Yang Jun was breathing heavily. At this moment, he was not feeling tired or painful, but more anxious. Because just now, one of his feet had stepped into the cell. Just a little bit. If he was really sent to a jail cell tonight, what would be waiting for Wen Huan? It's terrifying just to think about this kind of thing. In fact, he was just gambling, but fortunately he won. Wang Jingqiang walked over quickly and stared at Yang Jun. And his eyes were full of coldness. That's normal, I guess. After all, Yang Jun just exposed his own shortcomings in public. What did you say just now? Say it again if you dare. Yang Jun tried hard to calm himself down. Mr. Magistrate, I have made it very clear just now. If you send me to jail, you will never regain your dignity as a man in your life. Just this one sentence made Wang Jingqiang furious. He glared at Yang Jun fiercely. Kid. I didn't know whether what you said just now was true or false, so I couldn't punish you. But based on what you said now, this county magistrate will make sure you can never leave this place. You are threatening me so nakedly, do you really think I am made of mud? You too. Wang Jingqiang pointed at Yang Jun. Take him to jail. No one is allowed to release him without my order. Yes. But Yang Jun just stood firm. Humph. I originally thought that you should have some brains to be able to sit on this position of county magistrate, but I didn't expect you to be such a complete idiot. My goodness, Yang Jun's words just now stunned not only Wang Jingqiang, but even the two officers and soldiers next to him, their eyes widened. Boy. You are looking for death. You are just a commoner, and you dare to insult the magistrate in public. Even the King of Heaven can't save you today. These two officers and soldiers were really rude and their actions were much more brutal than before. Wang Jingqiang. Remember this, you have killed your last chance in this life. And you did it with your own hands. When you are old and look back, you will understand how stupid you have been in this life. Finally. Etc. Wang Jingqiang waved at the two soldiers. You guys go ahead and wait for me over there. No. Magistrate, this man is a lunatic, and he is so disrespectful to you. What if we leave and he kidnaps you later? Wang Jingqiang sneered. Don't worry, he doesn't have the guts. After all, his wife is still in our hands. Go ahead and I have something to say to him. Although the two soldiers looked worried, they couldn't resist their boss and spoke. The two looked at each other, and finally nodded, then walked to the side. Although it was some distance away from here, they could still come here in the first time if something happened. What did you mean by that just now? Wang Jingqiang moved closer to Yang Jun and deliberately lowered his voice. After all, he is a county magistrate. Although I am indeed not good in that aspect, for a man, this is no longer just a disease, but a matter of dignity. So he had to make sure no one could hear his conversation with Yang Jun. Yang Jun didn't hide anything. After all, I am very anxious now, so how can I have time to talk nonsense with Wang Jingqiang here? Mr. Magistrate. I have a way to cure your disease. Please believe me. Wang Jingqiang looked Yang Jun up and down. Although he didn't say a word in the next 10 seconds, his eyes said it all. That's just 2 words, don't believe it. Boy, you are being too arrogant, aren't you? I admit that the county magistrate is under too much pressure, so I have been a little overwhelmed recently. But how dare you, a commoner, say such big words? Wang Jingqiang said this coldly. Yang Jun shook his head slightly. I hope you can trust me for once. I can really cure you, and your illness is probably more than just a matter of inability to do anything, right? Wang Jingqiang thought about it. Even the only doctor within a dozen miles couldn't cure me, and you are not even a doctor, so how can you cure me? I have no reason to believe you. Yang Jun shook his head. If I cure your disease, will everyone be happy? Even if I really can't cure you, it will be my trouble. This is considered as deceiving the magistrate of the current Great Jing Dynasty. If you want to investigate my crime, you will definitely make me stay in jail forever. Excuse me, magistrate, if I wasn't 100% sure, how could I have taken the initiative to propose such a thing? Isn't this just digging a hole for myself? Wang Jingqiang thought about it. He suddenly felt that what Yang Jun had just said seemed to make some sense. Are you sure you can heal me? Why don't you just try and know? Anyway, Hu Goxing is the only one who knows that you are unable to do that. But I discovered your illness the first time I saw you. Isn't that enough to make you believe me for once? I have to say that Yang Jun's words just now were clear and logical. In addition, with modern thinking, Wang Jingqiang was fooled in just a few words. Wang Jingqiang thought for a moment. If you can really cure my disease, then I will decide this matter for you and release you. But let me be frank with you. If you can't cure me, don't blame me for being rude to you. Your end will be very miserable. Yang Jun nodded heavily. No problem. In that case, let's get started without further ado. If you need anything, just let me know. I will do my best to satisfy you. Bring my wife out first. Yang Jun spoke with a serious face. Wang Jingqiang seemed a little unhappy. Don't worry about this. Your wife will be safe here. I don't believe Hu Goxing. I tell you, if my wife loses even a hair here, I will never forgive you even if you kill me. Take me to my wife now. I want to make sure she is safe and sound. Wang Jingqiang frowned. Okay, I'll take you there. The two people, one in front and one behind, walked towards the small dark room again. On the other side, Hu Goshen had already pounced on Wen Huan. This guy is like a brutal beast at this moment, not like a human being at all. Hu Goshen's upper body was already naked. He grabbed Wen Huan's clothes and tore them hard. With a swish sound, Wen Huan's fair shoulders were exposed. Hu Goshen's eyes turned red. Har har har. I didn't expect you to have such a smooth body. I won't be polite then. Even though Wen Huan was the Empress of the Great Jing Dynasty, she couldn't help but feel fear when faced with such a situation. No. Hu Goshen, if you dare to tarnish my innocence today, I will never let you go even if I become a ghost. How could Hu Goshen care about all this now? He slapped Wen Huan on the side of his face. It's already this fucking time, and you still dare to threaten me. I'm going to fucking kill you right now. I'll let you know what it means to cry out to the heavens and the earth and get no response. Immediately afterwards, Hu Goshen pounced on him frantically. Wen Huan tilted his head to the side, tears streaming from the corners of his eyes in humiliation. No, don't. Chapter 25, Beating Hu Goshen. At this moment, Wen Huan's ears were filled with Hu Goshen's crazy laughter. At this moment, Wen Huan no longer had any desire to survive. Hu Ergu had already taken off his pants and was lying tightly on Wen Huan, but this guy didn't seem to be satisfied yet. He suddenly grabbed Wen Huan's cheek and forcibly twisted her cheek over. Hu Goshen licked his lips pervertedly. TSK, 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 the young lady is so pretty. It's such a pity that she followed that idiot. I can give you one last chance. If you are willing to follow me, I will make sure you will have everything you want in the future. Being my mistress is much better than suffering with that fool. Wen Huan said nothing and just stared at him. But even with just a look, Hu Goshen could still feel how strong Wen Huan's rejection mentality was at the moment. This was the last straw that broke the camel's back. Hu Goshen nodded viciously. Bitch. If I don't make you obedient today, I won't be named Hu. Hu Goshen slapped Wen Huan several times again, seeing that this guy was about to defile Wen Huan. Just then, the door was opened. The first person to come in was Wang Jingqian. The moment Wang Jingqian saw the room, he was suddenly stunned. Following closely behind is Yang Jun. The last second, Yang Jun was still smiling at Wang Jingqian. I'm telling you, magistrate, if you're willing to believe me, I promise you won't regret it. As long as you can let him go. The moment Yang Jun turned his head, he felt a buzzing in his head. At this moment his mind was blank. Hu Goshen. What are you doing? Wang Jingqian shouted. Hu Go was still lying on Wen Huan a second ago, but the next second, when he heard these words, he seemed to be frightened and suddenly jumped up from Wen Huan. Randomly turn your head. When he saw Wang Jingqian and Yang Jun standing behind him, he was obviously at a loss. This, Mr. Magistrate, please listen to my explanation. Having said that, Hu Go pointed at Wen Huan who was lying on the ground. This bitch is responsible for all this. You all left just now, and she seduced me on purpose. As Hu Goshen spoke, he probably didn't even believe himself. But now that things have come to this guy has no other choice but to deny it. Mr. Magistrate. You must believe me, it is really this stinky woman who seduced me. Wang Jingqian was so angry that his whole body was shaking. He pointed at Hu Goshen's nose. Are you done yet? Do you really think I'm a fool? Hu Goshen, I trusted you so much, but I didn't expect you to trick me. Hu Goshen stretched out his hands and waved them quickly. No, it's not what you think. Mr. Magistrate, you must listen to my explanation. But at this moment, a voice came from the side. No need. Hu Goshen was stunned and turned his head subconsciously, only to see Yang Jun picking up a stick from the side and walking towards him step by step. Hu Goshen's face changed. Although this guy is afraid of Wang Jingqian, he still feels confident in front of Yang Jun. After all, this guy looks down on Yang Jun from the bottom of his heart. Hu Gotsun pointed his finger at Yang Jun's nose. What do you want to do? I advise you not to do anything rash. I am the only doctor within a dozen miles. It was obviously your wife who seduced me on purpose. This is your fault. I can be merciful and spare your lives today, but if you touch me, the magistrate will never let you go. While Hu Goshen was speaking, Yang Jun had already arrived in front of him. Then Yang Jun didn't hesitate at all. He suddenly raised the stick in his hand and swung it towards Hu Goshen hard. There was a loud bang. The stick was originally aimed directly at Hu Gosheng's head, but at the critical moment, this guy stretched out his hands to block it. The moment the stick collided with his arm, a creaking sound was heard. It was obvious that all the bones were broken by Yang Jun. One could imagine how much strength Yang Jun used just now. A painful scream came from Hu Gosheng's mouth. Murder! Did you see that, magistrate? This guy actually dared to beat someone up in front of you. He is so outrageous. As he said this, Hu Gosheng pointed at Yang Jun with his other good hand. Mr. Magistrate, this guy doesn't take you seriously at all. Please deal with him quickly. Make sure he can't leave here for the rest of his life. But this time, Wang Jingqiang rarely turned his head away and had no intention of paying any attention to Hu Gosheng at all. Hu Gosheng was completely confused. Mr. Magistrate, you can't just ignore me. I've cured your illnesses over the years. Aren't you just throwing the donkey away after it's done its work? Wang Jingqiang just said in a low voice. Misfortunes sent by heaven can be forgiven, but misfortunes brought upon oneself cannot be forgiven. You are asking for trouble. Hu Gosheng took several steps back suddenly. Seeing that he could no longer rely on Wang Jingqiang, he turned his head and looked at Yang Jun. Fool! No, brother, let's talk slowly. Put your things down first, so you don't hurt me by mistake later. Yang Jun didn't give any face at all. After all, I had already given him a chance last time. And Yang Jun still regrets it very much now. If I had known earlier, I should have killed this guy directly, so that Wen Huan would not have suffered the injustice today. I really regret it now. Hu Gosheng was stunned for a moment, then quickly nodded. Brother, it's right that you regret it. But we still have room for redemption. As long as you are willing to put down the stick, I can forgive what happened tonight. From now on, there will be no more grudges between the two of us. Do you think this is okay? Having said that, Hu Gosheng even gave Yang Jun a smile. But Yang Jun shook his head slightly. What I regret is why I didn't just beat you to death back then. Hu Gosheng widened his eyes and looked at Yang Jun as if he were a madman. Please don't do anything rash. Don't. But it was too late. Yang Jun raised his stick and went up to him and started to greet him. All I heard was a series of dong 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 sounds. At first, Hu Gosheng was still screaming in pain, but in the end, this guy couldn't even make a sound to scream. He lay on the ground half dead, looking as if he would die at any moment. Wang Jingqiang was very strange this time and did not try to stop Yang Jun. As a county magistrate, he was naturally aware of the laws of the Great Jing Dynasty, but what Hu Gosheng did was indeed disgusting. And he is quite scared now. Because what Hu Gosheng just did represents more than just himself. If this guy really abused Wen Huan, once things got out of hand, it was very likely that he would lose his official position. Chapter 26 Brickmaking. To put it bluntly, it means betraying your teammates. That's why Wang Jingqiang stood aside with an indifferent expression. Yang Jun beat him for several minutes. In the end, Hu Gosheng was like a dead dog, lying on the ground with blood all over his head. Moreover, his breathing was very weak, and he even exhaled more air than he inhaled. Looking at Yang Jun again, he was sweating profusely because of his weak body. He kept breathing heavily, but had no intention of stopping. At this moment, a slender hand suddenly grabbed Yang Jun's arm. Yang Jun turned his head and saw Wen Huan standing behind him. Don't worry about it, my lady. Let me go. I'm going to kill him today. Wen Huan shook his head. He is already disabled. Even if you beat him to death, it will be useless. It is better to let him spend the rest of his life disabled. As expected, Wen Huan knows what it means to kill someone and destroy their heart. Yang Jun nodded and threw the stick aside. Remember Hu Gosheng? My wife spoke up for me today, so I spared your life. Next time you see me and my wife, bow your head and behave yourself. Hu Gosheng was already scared by the beating. How dare I talk too much nonsense at this time? He held his head with both hands and nodded continuously. Then Yang Jun took Wen Huan's arm, his tone extremely gentle. My lady, my husband will take you away right now. Wen Huan didn't say anything, but this time Yang Jun grabbed her hand, and Wen Huan didn't refuse for the first time. When two people came out of the small dark room, Wang Jingqiang chased after them. Etc. Yang Jun turned around. This matter is indeed my fault. I didn't understand it clearly at the beginning. I didn't know Hu Gosheng was such a villain. He almost made your wife lose her innocence. I apologize to both of you here. Yang Jun shook his head. Didn't he understand what Wang Jingqiang meant? Mr. Magistrate, everything has passed. Fortunately, my wife was not defiled by that beast. As for what I promised you before, I will not break my promise. You can send someone to my house to get the medicine tomorrow. When Wang Jingqiang heard this, he suddenly became happy. No problem. Mr. Yan, I'll be waiting for your good news. Wang Jingqiang also sent 2 officers to escort Yang Jun and Wen Huan. The 2 people didn't have any conversation along the way. It was not until the 2 returned home that Wen Huan lay on the bed, wrapping himself tightly in the quilt. Yang Jun stood behind Wen Huan, not knowing what to say for a moment. My wife. Yang Jun just said that, and Wen Huan spoke coldly. Thank you for this. Yang Jun chuckled and touched his head. Look at what you said. You are my wife, and as your husband, I should be your support, so you don't have to be so polite. Wen Huan didn't say anything and just stayed there quietly. Okay, I've taken care of Hu Goshen. No one will bully you anymore. Wen Huan nodded, and the 2 of them remained silent all night. The next morning, Yang Jun went directly to the back mountain carrying a bamboo basket. When he examined Wang Jingqiang's condition before, it was obvious that he suffered from kidney deficiency. In that dynasty, there was no Western medicine that could work quickly, so he could only use Chinese medicine to replenish his body. Fortunately, the mountain is full of Chinese medicinal herbs, because many people just think of them as weeds and no one picks them. Therefore, the traditional Chinese medicine market is still very large and basically in a blank state. After a whole day of busy work, Yang Jun's bamboo basket was full of medicinal herbs, most of which could replenish qi and blood and strengthen yang. For example, ginseng, yam, astragalus, etc. In short, as long as the herbs are beneficial to qi and blood, and do not contain any toxic substances when combined together, Yang Jun would give them the more the better, and he would not be stingy at all. Their whole basket was filled with herbs for Wang Jingqiang. After returning home, looking at the cooking stove at home, Yang Jun fell into deep thought. Yes, the fire temperature of this stove is not high enough. If you do it like this, the effect will be greatly reduced, because the residue of Chinese medicine is all waste, and only the medicine soup is the essence. But if the medicinal soup is boiled in this way, it will not contain the essence of the herbs at all. What if Wang Jingqiang drinks it for a few days and finds that there is no effect at all? Who can guarantee that this old guy will not make things difficult for him? Moreover, when Yang Jun looked back at his own house, it was nothing but shabby. My goodness, this is even worse than having nothing at home. At least you need to have 4 walls at home before you can say this, right? After a brief thought, Yang Jun patted his head. If you're going to do it, make it bigger. Not only did he want to shut Wang Jingqiang up, he also planned to renovate the house from top to bottom. After all, he has been accustomed to the benefits of modern life and really can't get used to living in this home, not to mention that Wen Huan is here now. It was more or less inconvenient for the 2 of them to sleep in the same house every day. Yang Jun first mixed some mud with water. Of course, the soil was very fine and there were no stones mixed in it. Then he took some wheat straw, mixed it into the mud and water, and started stirring it continuously. He planned to build a large stove first. After all, whether it was for burning bricks or boiling herbs, a qualified large stove was definitely indispensable. Yang Jun first built an adobe brick with wood, then put mud into the brick and began to press down frantically. Wen Huan was watching Yang Jun's operation from the side and certainly couldn't understand it. But the girl didn't ask much. Yang Jun was already used to it. After all, Wen Huan was just that kind of woman. It seems that no matter what happens, it doesn't matter to her. Yang Jun piled the prepared rectangular mud into the shape of a stove, and then placed firewood in the middle and around it. Although this is a simple brick-making method I invented, the quality of the bricks made is definitely not good. But he didn't plan to build a 2 or 3-story house, so this strength of hard mud should be enough. Their whole piece of bricks was burned for 3 to 5 hours. Now all the soil blocks had become harder, and they were used to build a large stove. However, it is definitely not okay to have a stove without an air inlet. Yang Jun recalled some of the cool things he saw done by those wilderness survival bloggers in modern times. First, a trench was dug under the stove, and then a simple hand-cranked blower was placed at the end of the trench. Just like riding a bicycle, just keep shaking it with your hands and the fan blades will rotate, blowing the flames. Or maybe some methods are still very useful. Especially in this era of resource scarcity, this handmade blower can greatly increase the intensity of the flame. As a result, I am much more adept at boiling Chinese medicine. Yang Jun had almost finished boiling the Chinese medicine, and a soldier came to take it. He gave all the medicine to the soldier at once, and told him to take it once in the morning and once in the evening, and he would see improvement after a week. Chapter 27. I want to demolish the house. Then Yang Jun spent the whole night making bricks and placed the made bricks neatly aside. He is a man who does what he says, and he is indeed in a hurry to build a new house. After all, he really needs a new house. Yang Jun spent 2 full days at home before he felt that there were enough bricks. Then he ran to Wang Han's house and knocked hard on the door. "Who is it?" Wang Han pushed open the door and was stunned when he saw Yang Jun. He dragged Yang Jun back to his yard and then stuck his head outside to look around. "What's wrong with you?" Yang Jun was still a little confused. "I don't understand what Wang Han is doing." Then Wang Han immediately closed the door, turned his head and stared at Yang Jun, and even looked him up and down. It has to be said that Wang Han's weird look really made Yang Jun feel a little at a loss. Yang Jun put his hands in front of his chest. "Wang Han, what are you doing for no reason? Let me tell you, I have no interest in this area. I advise you to take your gaze away, otherwise I will tell Shushan later and let your wife take a good look at what kind of person you are." Yang Jun became more and more cowardly as he spoke. After he finished saying these words, Wang Han suddenly let out a long sigh and deliberately lowered his voice. "Are you crazy? Who told you to run away? Do you know that this will bring you disaster?" Yang Jun touched his head. "What on earth are you talking about? You are still pretending to me. I saw it clearly that day, you blocked the soldier's way, which is a taboo in our Daijin law. How can I let you out if I don't lock you up for 3 to 5 years? Hurry up and tell me. How did you escape from the county magistrate's mansion? Idiot, I really think of you as a friend, so I'm telling you all this. Come with me to the county magistrate's mansion and surrender yourself." As he said that, Wang Han grabbed Yang Jun's arm and prepared to take him away. Yang Jun quickly shook him off. "Are you crazy? How could I escape from the county magistrate's office? They released me. How is this possible?" Yang Jun sighed. "If you don't believe me, just come with me to my house and take a look. My wife and I are back. This is all a misunderstanding. If I really ran away, how could I take my wife with me?" After hearing what Yang Jun said, coupled with the incomparable calmness revealed in Yang Jun's eyes at this moment, Wang Han realized that what Yang Jun had just said must be true. He immediately let out a long breath and tried hard to calm himself down. "Phew, you really scared me to death. I thought you wouldn't be able to get out for a few years. It's just a misunderstanding, it's just a misunderstanding." Yang Jun chuckled. No matter what, Wang Han was also worried about himself. So he did not argue with Wang Han. "By the way, have you taken good care of the rice I planted?" Wang Han nodded quickly. "Don't worry about my work. I've been going to check every 2 days these days, but to be honest, I really admire you. In just a few days, those rice seeds have sprouted." Yang Jun nodded with satisfaction. "After all, these operations were within my expectations." He patted Wang Han's shoulder gently. "I promised you before that I would make these seeds mature in a month at most. As a friend, I must let you spend a worry-free winter." If it had happened before, Wang Han would not have believed it at all. But after experiencing all these things, especially in just a few days, the rice actually sprouted, so he couldn't help but believe it. Thinking of this, Wang Han nodded. "If we continue at this pace, I estimate that a month shouldn't be a problem. By the way, Wang Han, come with me to my house. I need your help with something important today." As soon as he finished speaking, Yang Jun grabbed Wang Han and prepared to walk towards his home. But Wang Han stopped him. "Wait a minute, can you tell me? When did you know this method? I have known you for so many years, and I have never heard of you having this ability." Yang Jun chuckled. "Have you ever heard of the phrase, 'great wisdom appears foolish'?" Wang Han shook his head. Looking at his confused look, you can tell that this guy doesn't even understand what I'm saying. The so-called great wisdom appears foolish, which is the same as the description of me. You think I am a fool, but I am actually very wise. Don't judge a person by his appearance. But the problem is that you have been stupid for more than 20 years. Now that you suddenly become smart, I am still a little uncomfortable with it. Yang Jun grinned and didn't explain much. He pulled Wang Han and ran towards his home. More than 10 minutes later, Yang Jun and Wang Han stood at the door of their house, and then Yang Jun said something that almost made Wang Han drop his jaw. He pointed at the entire dilapidated house. Wang Han, our mission today is to demolish the house. Demolishing the house. Wang Han widened his eyes and looked at Yang Jun in confusion. He had no idea what he meant by what he just said. Yang Jun raised a confident smile and pointed towards the house again. Hasn't what I've said been clear enough? Tear down this house. Wang Han stretched out his hand and placed it on Yang Jun's forehead. Hey, what are you doing? Yang Jun looked as if he was rejecting and pushed Wang Han's hand away. At this time, Wang Han shook his head. I don't mean anything else. I just want to ask you if you are mentally ill. Brother, you demolished your house. Where are you going to live with your wife? Yang Jun pointed to the bricks he had made next to him. Just build the wall up, it's very simple. You just need to help me tear down a house, and I can handle the rest myself. Wang Han stepped back and shook his head. You are crazy, you are absolutely crazy. Then Wang Han hurried into the house. Silly wife, can you please try to persuade your husband? Who knows if he is having a relapse? He insists on demolishing your house for no reason. After a while, Wen Huan came out. When Yang Jun saw Wen Huan, the natural sense of oppression that came from it did make him feel a little embarrassed. Every time he encountered such a thing, Yang Jun basically didn't dare to face Wen Huan face to face, for fear that this girl might get angry again. But what surprised him was that Wen Huan did not blame himself and spoke calmly. Since my husband has said so, let's tear it down. Wang Han was confused. It's easy to demolish a house, but the problem is, if the house is demolished, where will you two live in the future? It's obvious that the idiot is insane, you can't follow his ideas. I'd better try to persuade him. This guy doesn't listen to me at all.